everybody. I rounded a few people up for this one. Good evening, how are you? I have on Pontius as, well, at this point, he is a usual person for Wednesday now. We have Pio, and we have Arch.
Technically, we have evil Pio because the name is on the wrong side.
I am evil Pio.
Evil Pio, yes. Yeah. But how are you guys doing today?
Poorly. It's hot outside.
I mean, wait, hold on. Does Norwegians have ACs?
Not enough.
Not enough. You know what? Fair.
You need a country-wise AC. Like, I know that Norway is actually pretty cold. At least better than Italy, because here we are cooking, so...
Everyone's a bit too quiet. Alright, give me a second. I will turn them up.
Failure, LumLum.
Shut up!
Check this before you start streaming, LumLum.
You mean it would help if, like, you know, you would also join in too a little more so that I could check audio levels, but whatever.
And like
Everyone
that,
knows
the
one
chat
thumb
is now
Jim.
deaf.
Yes. Evil Pio suspiciously glares at Arch. Yeah!
Technically, that's more depressed Pio. It's depressed evil Pio.
Italy is pretty much a living frying pan right now. Fucking
Yep.
yikes.
Good.
Yeah.
The Italians deserve everything bad that could possibly happen to them.
No.
Based,
My cat's trying
but,
to kill me
but at the
today.
same time, I have to live here, so not based for that.
For betraying the legacy of the Romans, they must fry. And if needs be, die.
Listen, God punished the Romans and turned them into Italians, so... It happens.
Hi Mechanicus. Oh, it looks like they fixed the names on YouTube now, finally. And I see my
18
favorite
degrees
foreigner.
C in Bergen, too hot? What do you mean too hot? In South Italy we are at 42 degrees Celsius. Fuck you!
Jesus. That's insane.
Yeah.
It's humid and it's warm and I hate it.
Oh,
I don't
Arch.
care if other people have it worse. Other people's concerns are not mine.
Base.
Besides, as we've already determined, the Italians deserve everything that happens to them.
I mean, speaking of bad things happening to people, but I guess it's a win for some others. Did you hear about what's happening in Sweden and how many femboys now have to go work at a McDonald's?
Okay, I'm going to Sweden. Goodbye, guys.
What
no,
is
You should
there?
not say Sweden, you should say Sweden.
One of the
Sweden.
people that LumLum made me talked about this. It's like, hey, LumLum, might need more men to bring on the Archcast. And Lumi was like, yes, I know several effeminate men that sell pictures of their buttholes on the internet.
You said men. You didn't clarify what kind of men. Anyways, I do
LumLum's
actually.
definition of man is worrying.
Shut up. I do have an actual man of the non-femboy persuasion that is down to come onto the Archcast on the 12th.
How many femboys were lined up to the point that you had to find somebody that wasn't?
We only had like one femboy on. It was only Mizu.
Oh.
I could bring on Atari. He's actually super into 40k
12?
on the 12th.
Didn't
Yeah.
some person named Asshole on the 12th?
That's Anus. In that. Oh yeah, that is the 12th. Okay, no, I got to ask Todd if he wants to come on the 5th then. All right, never mind. Anus is coming on the 12th. God damn it. Why does she have to have her name like that?
You're a retard, LumLum. You're the
Shut
one
up.
responsible for this calendar. Do it properly.
Shut up. Ugh, I don't know why she has to have her name on as that, but I don't know, maybe it comes with the territory of being the secretary of Gundam at that point? I don't know. Anyways, let me read these next couple super chats, and then we'll get started with the video. Mechanics on duty. Nice to see my favorite foreigner, war criminal, autist, and foot lover, along with Pontius, Pio, and Arch. This should be interesting. Hello, Mechanicus.
We should have put the foot Pio as his avatar for this stream.
No.
What is the foot Pio?
I sent it in the chat. How did you not see the 3D version of Pio with feet?
The 3D. Okay, I know
It has
that.
feet.
Animate acumen, a fish, a Norwegian, an Italian, and a white guy walk into a bar.
I mean, I would consider Pio more like a pet than a white guy, but okay.
Marksman of 11-7B. How mighty is the Keemcock in 40k? It doesn't exist. Shut up. How is this still going?
I've named my penis the Primarch.
I know you did.
Games Workshop will come cut it off for violation of copyright.
I kind of like, you know those old videos they did on YouTube where they had like finger puppets with like faces drawn on them? You could do that, but with penis, and it could give rousing speeches.
What the fuck?
So long as I don't do it in OnlyFans, and so long as it's not on Sweden, it's okay.
What the fuck is wrong with you? Okay, anyways.
How is it that I start studying Pontius Glow for the next video and Arch falls to Slanesh? The two things cannot be disconnected.
Hey, LumLum, a small indie by the name of Kumori Ellis seems to have gotten recommended by one of your things to make a chibi of you using her art. I told her about you and she seems a little interested. Aw, that's sweet! That's awesome. And Jackson Voorhees, Pio, did Lum make you send feet pics to be here too? No! Nothing like that happens, ever. Don't believe in Pontius. I do not force him to send feet pictures.
I mean, not that I complain, but every time you ask, they are there.
God damn it.
But even removing that, no, technically I sent Pio foot pics in the chat because I had a meme version of Pio with feet lying around, a 3D version.
I was scared.
Well, here, if people want to see that, Pio, there you go.
The feet are not even like the good kind; they are the sphere kind.
They look infected.
Yes.
Hello, Reverend Norris. Thank you for being a member for 1 month. Is it just me, or is Pontius a lot louder than the others? It's because he's a commanding force of nature. I don't know. I'll turn him down.
No, it's just the Italian autism. It gives me superpowers in some way. Which is talking loudly, mainly.
I think it's because I had him turned up from the last stream that we were on together. It's hard to balance out 3 voices. I don't know how Arch does it.
It's very simple, LumLum. You balance their voices on Discord. You have a little thing that goes volume up, down.
I know! But I can't be bothered. Anyways. Let's get started. Make a femboy, Pio. I don't think Pio wants to be a femboy, though. Vulture 1066. I do see a lot of EU tourists fleeing to Norway. And Steel Striker, Arch, would you consider working with Pontius and Pio to make a heresy you own? Make a heresy you own heresy. Huh?
I don't get that one.
I don't know. Marksman of 11-7B, is the Primarch Loyalist Chaos or New Emperor?
Good question, I suppose. Mostly loyal, but you never know. Sometimes it's cold outside.
A fanboy might come around and he might switch sides. Like an Italian.
Do we know
I am
Pontius
happy to say, since I had to research a new fetish last week, or was it this week?
Was
Time
it
is
black?
difficult when it's warm outside. I came to the conclusion that I am not at all interested in racial fetish pornography. I was happy to learn that.
Congratulations, Arch.
Thank you.
That's really good.
Yeah.
That's
There's always
another
a
clip
moment
that
of
will be taken out of
nervousness.
context.
When you discover a new deviancy, it's like, I hope this doesn't turn me on.
The fact that you have to say, hope this doesn't turn me on, is a concerning sentence to hear.
Well, yeah, because YPP hard is a literal phenomenon that occasionally occurs.
Yes, I know. You've talked about a few of your YPP moments, like in the bus. That is a weird YPP moment.
Oh, that isn't a YPP moment. That's being unable to control your body as a young person moment. All guys have that.
Okay.
It can also occasionally be referred to as delayed morning wood, but that's more a technical term.
Blaystone, thank you for being a member for 11 months. 3 degenerates and a poor bystander. What a lovely and boiling hot day for a Lumi stream. Who am I talking about? You decide. You know, I don't know the sheer degeneracy that lies within a Pio, so...
I mean, he has tried to invade and actually invaded various countries and has committed various war crimes, so I will say that it is pretty extreme, yep.
Not that much.
I mean, you are more people that want to arrest you probably than Pablo Escobar at his height, so...
Alright. Let us start the video before we somehow get to 2 hours in and haven't even pressed the play button yet.
Not a video. LumLum, it's like a stream or something. Wait, you're showing something? Where? LumLum, you haven't told me anything about this.
It's up on... I'm literally showing my screen, Arch!
I haven't clicked on that.
It's right there! I think you're just being a little me because you pushed your
No stellar
legs
blade,
very
no
back.
no bouncing ass and tits.
I mean, you can see a bouncing Pio.
Pio, bounce a bit.
I don't know if my chair was hurt.
Hello, Sojourn. The AI powered of Formamorph has updated, so now you can create your own fetish worlds. I'm enjoying playing an alien hunter trying to avoid being infected with parasites. Largely safe for work. Great fun. Interesting. Alright. Let me know how the volume is for you guys, chat, and I will adjust as so.
Back to the usual and boring life. Prisoner of an Italian with a golden armor that forces me to listen while he rants about 40k lore.
It is not my fault you let Servo Pio steal your position as president. He threw you back in the basement himself. Also, what happened to Pio Perius? He disappeared from the basement, and I have not seen him again.
Oh, he just went and decided to invade Thailand. I'm sure he will call. At some point. In the very distant future.
I don't know if you remember the
Well,
ending
while
of the
he's
video
away,
on
it
Bandai.
is time for another
Yep,
great
I
and
do.
investigative deep dive in 40k lore. Are you ready for it, Pio?
Yeah.
There once was a man born in a forgotten time, created by a force of unknown origin. He will cross the ages knowing his one purpose, to lead humanity as the greatest empire in the galaxy, the Imperium of Men. In this time, he will be known with only one name, the Emperor of Mankind.
So, what will we talk about in this new video? I will like a video on the orcs for a change.
Maybe in the future. Today we are here to talk about the Emperor of Mankind. Specifically his true origins. No myths, no legends, no suppositions. The truth about the creation of the Emperor and humanity.
I wonder where you find the time and mental fortitude to research this kind of 40k lore.
It's a superpower called autism, Pio. Maybe you will learn it one day. But before we start, as usual, we would like to thank our Discord members and our Patreon members for the support they give us. And specifically in this case, 2 members, Shock and Bulfrir Gauld. They both helped us research this video and work on the lore we will expose today. In fact, Shock joined our Patreon specifically to pitch us this video and help us making it. Making a good chunk of research by himself by the time we finally got to it.
So wait, he joined our Patreon, paid us,
Yeah,
did
Shock is
part of
also
the
in the
research
chat.
himself, just to see this video made by
LumLum,
What?
why am I being exposed to a fox's muzzle first thing in the morning?
That's not my Discord profile picture. That is somebody named Shock.
I blame you.
Also, isn't it like early evening for you?
And
You know what?
I mean,
fair
if your
enough.
early morning starts at 10 p.m.
And also, I will take this moment once again to shill Pontius's Patreon. Go join it. The Lord Destroyers are a fucking hoot. I love it.
Yeah, for who's watching. Every time I see one of those videos, I get an aneurysm.
It's beautiful, and I love it.
That's the interesting part. Pio that suffers.
Yes?
No, Pio. He joined our Patreon, paid us, and did a good chunk of the initial research himself so that we could make this video talking about it with an Italian accent.
Mamma mia, you are right.
And before we delve in this very complicated and abstract lore that we spent entire weeks theorizing about, I just wanted to warn you all that we have started a new weekly event on our Patreon called Lord Destroyers. Pretty much once a week
this
we
was the
join a voice
announcement
chat
of
on
Lord
Discord with
Destroyers.
Patreon
That's
members.
episode 1.
We watch the lore videos that patrons submit for us to watch and judge, especially on a lore accuracy standpoint, and have a big laugh every time I end up having a meltdown for how inaccurate a video is.
Astral Claws had a point. They also needed to learn when to let the point go. The Imperium didn't really have a point, but the Imperium doesn't need a point to absolutely wreck.
The Imperium didn't really have a point? Sorry, what? Like,
I think he did, to be honest.
I mean...
Man, do you show Major Kill completely naked?
No, not in this, in the video. Gladly, we decided against it. Only the part where he says that in the Badab War, the Imperium had no reason to go to war against the Astral Claws and the Warders.
Firstly, LumLum, why are you inside of a blender? Secondly,
What?
the Imperium had a small justification, namely the creation of a Space Marine Legion, but
Yeah, no, but they didn't know it at the time. But as I explained, like in this next part, the main reason why they started investigating into the Maelstrom Zone at that point, and you know it better than me because you covered it even more in detail, was that the Astral Claws and the Warders started attacking Administratum facilities that pretty much went dark with garbled communication warnings of siege by Space Marine forces. So yeah, they didn't really have a point, but yet the Administratum was under attack, so...
Yeah,
well, they started with a little bit of piracy activity because the mean people in the central government didn't give them things, so they had to take them. That and tie the ships exploding.
I mean, the tie ship was justified. The Carthago sector was full of fucking retards, to be honest.
I remember that in this premiere I wrote in the chat, be thankful that that we didn't put the shower part.
Yeah, because for who doesn't know it in this video, and it is, you can find our reaction on episode 1 of Lord Destroyers on our Patreon. Pretty much for a Manscaped ad, Major Kill recorded himself having a shower and shaving his intimate part. Gladly, it was censored by the demonetized symbol, but even the impression of it will haunt our nightmares.
Yeah, it was horrifying. I was jump scared. I was offended that I wasn't warned ahead of time.
I was jump scared too because it was completely unexpected, and I removed that part from my brain.
And then I reactivated it because it was funny.
And then, should we say where we found the Shock and...
what do you mean?
Where were they before they came to us?
Yeah, this is actually a pretty funny story. Shock and Bolfrid together with other lore experts that habitually we discuss lore and ideas for videos with, actually came from the Discord of Major Kill, from his lore chat, in which, from what they said, he showed up only once from when the Discord was opened. And in fact, my main question was, why the fuck does this guy have lore experts in his fucking Discord if then all of his videos are shit on a lore level? Because it is incredible. It takes talent to suck this much.
Man. At least they now have a good home in your Discord server. I see the various pings throughout the day, and I'm like, oh, what are the nerds talking about now? And I just read, I'm like, look at them.
Yeah, these are forces serving under us, and they have just decided completely fucking arbitrarily that they will stop paying taxes to the Imperium and the Carthago sector. And even while the matter is being discussed, yes, it is the fault of the Carthago sector, but they were technically attacking like imperial fortresses around the territory of the Maelstrom Zone. I fear some of the content that could be sent. But hey, if you want to take part in it, just join the Patreon on the Pio Servo level or any level above it. Now, let's get to the video. But I want to give you a warning before we start. The amount of research that went into this video is massive and done by multiple people. The first part of the video will be very easy to follow. For the second part, I will have to guide you step by step to make things clear. So, just make sure to pay close attention. I imagine that everyone, at least generally, knows about the Emperor of Mankind. A giant clad in golden armor and with a flaming sword. And with such mighty psychic powers that he could be defined as a sentient walking apocalypse. The righteous ruler of humanity and the Imperium of Man, the Emperor of Mankind is an individual of such immense powers that nobody even comparable existed before him, or even after him. You know the general story of the Emperor, by this point I explained it in various videos. Appeared out of nowhere after the birth of Slanesh and started conquering Terra, unifying it, making treaties with Mars,
there is a super chat for you. Say it. Say the phrase.
Oh, sorry. So there was
the chat, Pio.
What wait.
There is a donation for you. It is one of the phrases used the most in our videos on the Badab War.
Ah. Sorry. My boys!
No, it's your own did nothing wrong, Pio.
Ah,
You will be punished for this.
I have to. I'm sorry, but I can't take the live on because my connection is shit.
Okay.
Like, stop the video. Just stop the video and just let the chat go. You don't need the video to go.
Oh man, we need to rescue Pio from shit connection. Everyone
I'm so
donate to
fucking
him.
confused. I'm sorry.
Pio is illiterate confirmed.
I mean, with those eyes, I couldn't read anymore either. They are so red.
1,000 lashes to Pio's
I'm so sorry.
You're okay, Pio. Pio is so innocent. He is. I adore this man. We need to protect him.
Pio is so innocent. He literally invaded Brazil. He killed people, but okay.
Okay, but that's a net positive.
Well, yes, technically, actually led Servo Pio there, and now Brazil, in the lore of the videos, is literally a superpower with a colony on Mars, if you read the article at the beginning of the video. That was on the whiteboard.
Alright.
Human soldiers and demigod beings in the Primarchs, and launching the Great Crusade to reconquer the stars. A master of war, sciences, technologies, and a fervent believer of the imperial truth. A staunch opposer of religions and gods. For reasons that will be understood only when chaos will move against him and the Imperium of Man. Currently, the Emperor of Mankind is a corpse on a throne. Wounded in his final battle with Horus Lupercal, he was interred by his own choice where it would be the most useful. The Golden Throne, an arcane machine made of unknown and Xenos technologies, modified to be a life support system to keep the Emperor alive, so that he can keep closed the portal to the human webway and avoid the destruction of Terra, and at the same time project the Astronomicon, the beacon that guides navigators through the warp, and that is the only reason humanity can use faster than light travel to move around the galaxy. Fed 1,000 psychers a day at the beginning of his interment, now he's fed an estimate of 4,000 psychers daily to keep him alive, keep the human webway sealed and the Astronomicon lit.
Also, keep in mind that the Emperor is decomposing on that throne from 10,000 years, so I'm pretty sure the throne room smells like Nargol's armpits.
Now, obviously seeing the kind of individual the Emperor was and what he was capable of doing, many people have started questioning his origins. Where was he born? When? Where has he been all this time? This is the first question we will answer today, the origins of the Emperor as a physical being. There is another question to answer that will arrive later though, so be prepared to a true deep dive into the lore. We actually know where and when the Emperor was born. In fact, we know about it from 1st edition. The Emperor was born in the year 8000 BC on Earth. To be specific, he was born in Central Anatolia, or how we will know it today, he was born in the territory of Turkey.
The Emperor is born. Of the birth and early life of the Emperor we shall say only a little, for space does not permit us to examine every detail of a lifetime spanning almost 50,000 years. His mother and father were human. His brothers and sisters were mortals like any other, so when he was born his parents had no reason to think of him as anything other than a normal human child. Only much later would he identify the time of his birth as the 8th millennium BC or the place as Central Anatolia, and by then he would have almost forgotten his early life among the barren mountains and cold streams.
Now, this information is contained in an old 1st edition codex named Realm of Chaos, the Lost and the Damned. But this manual, other than having some parts that are still canon and informations that will be very important for this video, also contains very outdated stuff that is obviously not true anymore by this point. In fact, the same codex talks about how the Emperor was born from the ritual sacrifice of thousands of psychers that died en masse to fuse their souls to...
Sorry if I interrupted, but somebody said with a donation, we know his name as well thanks to Games Workshop, Neot. No, Neot was his last alias, it was not his true name. The true name of the Emperor is still unknown.
I mean, he had to have an alias instead of, like, you know, just being, oh yeah, the Emperor. Why are you calling me that? Because that's
I mean,
just
it
what
was
I'm gonna
technically
be.
and canonically also Alexander the Great, so...
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it is
What
canon that
happened
he
to
was...
to the old law that he was an Indian? What happened to that?
I don't know, to be honest. I didn't encounter it during the research. The only Indian I remember was from the older lore of the Dark Angels, where they specify about the first company, the Deathwing, and yeah, that there is a Indian aesthetic in there, and even some parts. But other than that, I never found anything about him being Indian.
Oh, the old one was that he was created by 1,000 native shaman spirits.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, that's actually correct, and it was retconned. We found proof that it was retconned. So.
Good, but
Hyperbolic.
he's still brown, and I still don't like it.
I mean, at least he's not 100% Turkish, because I cannot imagine the Emperor at some point in time living in Turkey and selling kebab. I mean, I
was
literally
about to say the same
cannot.
thing.
Yeah, I literally cannot picture that in my mind as a serious thing. So at least he was before the Ottoman Empire and kebab.
I mean, it would be cool to have a giant 90% muscle to sell you a kebab for like $3.
What kind of sauce do you want on that? And like his entire hand is bigger than the kebab he's trying to serve you.
I also like the potential meme ramifications of his parents knowing nothing. Like, honey, the child is glowing again.
I mean, it is technically what happened to Robute Gilliman when he was found by Connor Gilliman. Like, yeah, well, when he was found, he was like Gilliman, the glowing child that had fallen from the stars was brought like in front of all other politicians, and they wanted to decide what to do with him. And then Connor Gilliman was just, I have the solution, mine, and took Gilliman and made it his child.
I thought about the Emperor selling kebab, and then a guy came up and said, hey, "It's a $3. Okay, here's 5. Keep the change. You shall be one of the greatest." What?
The Emperor's first gym modding was giving himself the ability to drink milk. Yeah, it is actually accurate, because if the origin of the Emperor are actually accurate and they were never retconned, the fact about 8000 BC Anatolia, the Emperor canonically, unless he modified himself genetically, doesn't have the mutation that permits humans to digest milk. So he is literally lactose intolerant.
Oh, he's lactose intolerant, just like me. He's just like me, for real, for real.
Actually,
I mean,
that also means that almost certainly the Emperor has on more than one occasion been disabled through aggressive shitting.
I mean, if you ever visited Italy in the year we are in now, yes, because we use milk and ricotta and literally any sweets you can buy. So yes.
The Emperor should die when he eats bread.
Reverend Norris sent a super chat. I don't know these names, so translate.
Neot, the Perpetual Psyker, married Erda, the Perpetual Psyker, and they had a domestic dispute, which resulted in Erda tossing their half-cloned, half-biological children into the warp so Neot wouldn't turn them into warlords. Pretty much what it is explaining is part of canon lore, removing the marriage. Neot created pretty much a cabal. Neot, the Emperor, pretty much created a cabal of Perpetuals, which are pretty much immortal people in the 40k universe. So Neot, so the Emperor, Erda, John Grammaticus, Olanius Pius or Pearson, because now they have retconned them again, and yeah, they were all immortals. Just imagine Highlander, but a lot less cool because they don't kill each other. And what happened was, before the lore was that a word bearer went back in time and created pretty much a closed loop in which he went back in time after being corrupted, smashed the generators that created the Geller fields into the room where the baby Primarchs were kept, and the Chaos Gods pretty much opened a portal and pulled them into the warp. But because of the retcon they made recently with Erda, they made it that it was her, unknowingly under the influence of Chaos, but I think it was just a very stupid woman in this case, that turned off the generators and teleported all the fucking Primarchs into the warp and sent them around the galaxy. Which doesn't make any sense, because her motivation was literally, I don't want my half-cloned sons to become brutal warlords for this madman that is the Emperor of Mankind. So let's send them straight through hell. Let's see what comes out.
Oh, that makes perfect sense. Woman logic. I hate my husband and I want to take his children away.
It is actually pretty funny when you consider the fact that she was written into the lore pretty much as a symbol of female power into 40k, because, you know, the Primarchs have a mother, and then after 3 books they made the Horus Heresy 100% her fucking fault, pretty much making the Dark Ages of a giant intergalactic empire built by superhuman demigods and that was on the grasp of victory and peace, pretty much the fault of a single woman.
It was a woman moment, because, you know, you gotta...
It was the biggest woman moment in the history of the galaxy. It literally caused the Dark Ages of a galaxy of trillions of humans.
I mean, she let her intrusive thoughts win, because it's like sometimes some mothers have the intrusive thoughts of, like, you know, doing
picking up their child and bashing their heads in against the doorpost.
Yeah, actually.
They don't
That's
act
called
on
postpartum psychosis. But yeah, she just let the psychosis win, and she just launched her children into chaos again.
I don't know what got into the writer, because it was a veteran writer that wrote her in. I think it was either Dan Abnett or some other veteran of the Horus Heresy, to just write in a character like Erda, and they make her the stupidest character in the entirety of 40k, an immortal perpetual that considers better to literally send clones of a fucking perfect being into the warp, pretty much creating Corvus Corax, Conrad Kurz, like even Angron is technically her fault because he landed on Nuceria. And all of this just because, oh no, I don't like I don't like their father, so they must pay. It was literally the worst. Oh, it was Dan Abnett, yeah. I imagine. I literally found out in the 4th episode of Lord Destroyers that he actually wrote I Am Slaughter, the first book of the War of the Beast, and I'm like, mate, what the fuck did you smoke to write that book?
The thing with Dan, okay, so I can actually explain this. Dan Abnett has actually been like deathly ill, like he barely survived basically, and he's been severely fucked up because of it. So he's just not the same writer he was.
Oh.
Yep. So he does have an excuse, but this is what inevitably is going to happen to Black Library as their authors grow older and older and they're not able to replace them with new talent. Mm-hmm. Eventually, it's just going to be garbage. Or even worse, it's going to be Aaron Dembski Bowden. Hate that man.
I
I
mean,
mean,
or it could be
Aaron
even
Demskiboden
worse.
is actually pretty good at writing chaos. The problem is when he writes anybody loyalist, like his only good loyalist book is Hell's and literally the entire point is that he wrote a Black Templar that learns to act less as a Black Templar, but never go on the Twitter of Aaron Demskiboden because you will literally lose IQ points by the seconds.
Oh, that's the thing. He's a one-trick pony, but he's too stupid to realize that. And so, because again, they gave him the book on the Emperor.
Yeah, that's really stupid.
Yeah, and when he had stated multiple times that he hated the Emperor of Mankind.
Yeah, he
and
hated
yet
it
they
too.
allowed him to write the book on the Emperor. Like,
At this
and the
point, I
thing is,
think
too,
that...
I don't think they gave it to him because surely they have no. I think he whinged and whined and lobbied for it precisely because he wants to undermine this shit. I hate that man. I don't like him. He's a bad person.
Yeah, it is possible. Gladly, we use Master of Mankind for this video, but just some sections, and they are not related to how well the book is written, because I don't like it. It's a shit book. But at least it has good info.
He deserves to have his penis trapped in quickly hardening concrete.
Sicilian style.
So
A Sicilian bear trap, we call it.
when do you guys think GW is just gonna start pouring like books from specific writers into ChatGPT to just start writing things for them?
I mean, saying the recent books, I think they have done that already.
Oh.
Like one of the most recent books, I was in the live stream with Arch, if you remember, literally had an AI cover.
Oh yeah, yeah, I remember. Man.
Either an AI cover or they pretty much hired the worst half 3D, half 2D artist on the face of the earth to do everything.
I don't remember. Was it the Vrax one that was AI?
Yeah, it was the Vrax
cover
one.
was okay, I remember.
So a shitty book with an AI cover. It was an incredible combination.
Of all the things, Vrax, I'm sorry.
Emmanuel, thank you for being a member for 1 month. If GW followed the ordinary rules of the hero's journey, the Emperor becomes god of order, giving balance to the warp, but I like your explanation more. LumLum used my second super chat about Pontius because Arch interrupted you earlier. Let me see here. Let's see, I was here and did nothing wrong. Oh, there's a couple that I missed. Hyperbolic Kriegsman, I really enjoy the streams of Pontius. Hopefully there will be more. Happy gas mask noises. Xylon Doppelganger, I only accept GW retcons if I agree with them. Let's see, I already read that one. Ben, I like the theory that his name would be Oxamako or Marduk. Any old Sumerian? I don't know.
Sumerian.
Oh, so I was right. Yeah. Or
Well, you
Babylonian
were on your third
deity.
attempt, Philistine.
Shut up. Also, Turkish E, would he put extra meat just for you? And Das Barba says, now he can't stop imagining the Emperor eating his first pizza.
No, that's not too bad. The image of him violently shitting himself on the toilet, rocking back and forth as he tries to evict the last remnants of the poison that's irritating his bowels is worse.
No, if you just eat dairy en masse, your body will eventually get over it.
Or you'll die.
It's not like we have peanut allergies. If it was peanut allergies, then yes, we would die. But we just get a little tummy hurt if we eat dairy. It's okay.
So Pio is to Denny as LumLum is to Arch. LumLum, Pio, I think you have been declassed. They have created the classism in the chat.
How could I have been declassed? I was a slave. I am a slave, and not was.
Yeah, I was about to say, what do you mean was?
We have our own class now, Pio. We are now the assistants. Alright, let us keep going.
together and be reborn as a single most powerful being, as they sensed the warp was becoming more and more dangerous. And they knew they could not be reincarnated any longer, which is not part of canon lore anymore. But the part about him being born to a normal human family in a farming village in the ancient times is still very much canon. We can learn as much from the book Master of Mankind, where we are given a direct flashback to when the Emperor avenged the death of his own father at the hands of his own uncle.
Mud brick huts lined both sides of the river. The wheat fields to the east were a patchwork sea of dark gold beneath the eye of the setting sun. The village was never truly quiet, even after the day's work was done. Families talked and laughed and fought. Dogs barked for attention and whined for food. The wind set the scrabbling trees to singing with the hiss of leaves and the creak of branches forming their eternal song. A ragged dog growled as the boy passed, yet fled yelping when he gave it no more than a glance. A carrion bird, hunchbacked and evil of eye, cried out above the village. A pack of other ragged children moved aside when he drew near, their ball game fading away and their eyes lowering. His barefooted walk took him unerringly to the home of his father's brother. The man, darkened
I
and
like
hardened
the
by his
idea
years
of
in
the
the
Emperor
field.
being a bully. Bullying local children. They're having fun. Then they see the abnormal kid walking by. Twice their fucking size. He just glanced at them all over throw their eyes out. Don't make eye contact. He'll beat the shit out of us again.
I just imagined the clip from Bad Boys 2. What do you mean 17? You look fucking 30.
He's growing a mustache. He's twice as tall as his fucking dad. Son, could you please clean your room? What? Never mind.
Well, in this case, the bullying of the Emperor was justified. He had just found out how his father had died and that he was murdered by his own uncle, that then had adopted him and was raising him. So the Emperor was pretty fucking pissed at this moment.
The way you pronounce uncle sounds more like ankle than uncle, so I have this vivid image that his father was killed by his own lower appendage.
That's the Italian accent for you. Leave me alone.
One day, suddenly his ankle shattered, he fell over and died. The Emperor was upset about this.
Oh,
Declared
man.
eternal war on orthopedists everywhere.
You know, I can only imagine what his teenage rebellious phase was like.
It's not a phase, Mom, and literally just building portals to the warp.
I like to think, teacher, my knee hurts. Repair it.
The Achilles tendon killed Papa Ems. Well, it could be possible. We don't know if it was Samson or something. Maybe if you cut his hair, he will just die. If it was Samson.
Was the Great Crusade a big teenage rebellion?
Yes, but of the Primarchs, not the Emperor.
Let's see. There's a couple more super chats.
I think the one of the Emperor was the Age of Strife.
Let's see. Perkel, thank you for being a member for 9 months. What if the anti-poison spray was added to Space Marines because they were all lactose intolerant too? Let's see. Valuemir? I think that's how you pronounce it. Kebab, imagine Big E as a Turkish ice cream man.
I mean, it would be in character because he was tormenting children, even like that.
Let's see. Bantam, thank you for being a member for 1 month. Gentlemen, Gentlefish, we forgot the most important question. Which Primarch has the best feet? We must quench LumLum's foot thirst.
I mean, I have an artwork of Sanguinius with naked feet. Do you want that one?
No.
Why do you have it?
Why do you
Because
have
it is because it is literally a reincarnated warp version of Sanguinius. I don't know why he has an armor but has naked feet. I think probably the artist was LumLum under a pseudonym.
If I was able to draw, I would never have to commission an artist again. And I'm sure Arch would be like, oh, look, another use for LumLum. Start drawing fish.
I remember.
I mean, Shock, I think False Gods was before the retcon of Erda. What book of the Horus Heresy was False Gods?
False Gods was long before Erda, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, no, it is long before Erda. If anything, Erda retconned the fact that the Emperor, that Horus was retconned in place of the Marine. So we have a triple retcon. The Marines was retconned for Horus, and then Horus was retconned for Erda.
It sounds like something Arch would say. LumLum would never have to commission feeding. Shut up!
I actually made a meme that had very much a lot of sense, which is Pio lives in the basement because if we unleash him in the world will end. And in the 40k universe, the Emperor found weapons of the Dark Age of technology so powerful that he closed them down under the Imperial Palace in vaults. And probably the original genes to create clones of Pio were in there because he's still in his own natural habitat, the basement.
That's a new theory.
I remember that scene from Battlefield Earth.
Alright,
Was sat outside the mud brick hut, threading beads onto a string for his youngest daughter. The boy's uncle uttered the sound that meant the boy's name. In response to this greeting, the boy held up his father's skull. Many centuries after these events, citizens of even civilized and advanced cultures would often misunderstand exactly what a myocardial infarction was. The savage, constricting pain in the chest was due to blood no longer flowing cleanly through the heart's passages, causing harm to the myocardium tissue of the heart itself. Put simply, the core of a human being runs dry, trying to function with no oxygenated lubricant. This happened to the boy's uncle when he set eyes upon the skull of his murdered brother. The boy who would be king watched with neither remorse nor any particular hostility. He looked on as his uncle slid from his crouch onto the mud, clutching at his treacherous chest. He watched as his uncle's sun-darkened features pinched closed, ugly and tight in supreme agony as the older man shook with the onset of convulsions. He saw the necklace slip from his uncle's grip, the necklace that was being made for his young cousin and will now never be finished. Others came running. They shouted. They cried. They made the noises of language that spoke of panic and sorrow in a Proto-Indo-European tongue that will come to be known as an early precursor to the Hittite dialect. The boy walked away, heading back towards his family's hut. On the way, he turned to the figure, the giant, clad in gold who walked nearby. Nordic war clan tattoos curled on the towering warrior's face, curling from his temples to follow the curves of his cheekbones. The serpentine ink curves, white against his dark flesh, ended upon his chin just beneath his mouth.
But the part about other psychers fusing into one single being has now been fully retconned from canon. In fact, it has been retconned with an even more interesting line of events. The Emperor wasn't the result of psychers fusing, he was in fact the first ever psyker of the human race. We can learn of this not only from the Codex of Horus Heresy Age of Darkness 2nd edition, but also from the Horus Heresy Book of Mortis.
The Psyker Paradox. Psychers are
Also,
sentient
little
beings who
trivia,
can honor...
Mortis is a very boring and very shitty book.
I
This literally was the only interesting part in it. The rest was complete shit.
And also, okay, how bad is GW at changing things in books of the same name between editions?
They do it very often.
Really? So you can buy a second edition of Horus Heresy, and get one context, but say that 4th edition comes out, there's something completely changed, and it's like, nope, that's always been there. What do you mean?
Yep, they omit or have wrong information even between codexes of the same edition. Like if you go and read, like I think was either 5th or 6th edition Chaos Space Marine versus Space Marine Codex, the events of the Abyssal Crusade are completely different between the two. It was actually hilarious as I researched that.
The fuck?
Yep. They were same edition, different codexes, and said different things.
Okay, I've never heard that much of absolute shit writing, but granted it's also GW, so I'm not even surprised either at this point.
Yep.
Ugh, disgusting.
Or manipulate the warp. The Emperor is the first and greatest of all human psychers, but there are psychically able people in every human culture and on every world throughout the galaxy, and to every generation yet, more psychers are born. John Grammaticus walked into the middle of the tableau. All stood in the place where he had been when he had lived the dream in reality. 2 steps behind the man with the crown and the burning sword. All shifted and heard the fish scales of his pearl-white armor chime as he moved. He watched John circle the man in the crown. "You and the big him," said John. "Did he call himself an emperor back then?" All shook his head. "What a crown, though," said John, nodding at the image of the man. "To service a higher ideal demands that those who can act sacrifice themselves to authority," said All. "Those are his words, right? That's what he said about why he took power. He had that ambition even then. Is there anyone then who could go up against him?" All shrugged. "There were some, but he was the first." "You mean the first psyker?" "The first witch, the first wizard, sorcerer, shaman, druid. The first. There were others who were different, but none like him. Not in the beginning." "What changed?" "He did. He was weaker than he is now. Much weaker. But always stronger than anyone else. People change. People stay the same. He was always driven. Always."
So, the Emperor was born in the year 8000 BC, from normal human parents and in the territory of modern-day Turkey. First and most powerful of the human psychers, and an immortal perpetual, the Emperor, after murdering his own uncle...
Good. I never liked Uncle Ragnar anyway.
Left what he knew and his old family home to embark in a travel around the globe to learn about humanity and expand his knowledge and powers how he could. He was a force that tried to spread the seeds of wisdom and peace. He watched from the sidelines as the human race developed, sometimes taking on the mantle of a great leader or advisor throughout history to guide humanity in the right direction. But at times of crisis he was always there, steering the human race along a narrow survival path that he alone was able of seeing. But one thing about the Emperor was clear. Along the way he learned of chaos. Being the most powerful human psyker, he knew...
Alright, I have a question because obviously haven't looked like I'm still learning bare bone basics of all this shit. So was it just kind of accepted that this dude was essentially immortal since he's been alive for so long?
Pretty much, yes, but he also there are various people that explain the concept of perpetual. Even Vulcan, one of the Primarchs, is a perpetual. A perpetual is pretty much somebody that can be killed but will reincarnate itself. In fact, Vulcan was killed various times during the Horus Heresy and even after in the War of the Beast. And, well, after the War of the Beast he never did, but it is theorized that he is around somewhere, but he always came back to life. And yeah, it is pretty much what Perpetuals did. Not only they didn't age and didn't die of natural causes, but if they died in any way, they could come back from the warp and reincarnate, so...
Okay.
I fucking hate what they did to Vulcan with that. Because
Yep.
now he's just a prick. That's all, he's just a prick now. Like, oh yeah, I could save loads of people by coming back and being an immortal warlord with millennia of experience and rallying my fucking chapters to victory, but I'd rather fuck around the galaxy.
There are elder children to find and burn.
Oh my god, they killed Vulcan,
Only
you
the
bastards!
children.
I feel it's the citation to the fact that Vulcan once burned like various elder children that were trying to escape a prison camp. He was not
I
proud
know.
of it, but the entire community took it as a meme.
I know, but I like to think only the children.
Only the children.
But it's just like the reason why I asked if, like, you know, with the Emperor just kind of like living his life, being the first psyker of whatever. I didn't know if the concept of immortality or reincarnation was the thing, because just imagine this hulk of a man just pretending to be different people while he's towering over everybody else. Like, no, I'm not him. I'm this person. I just look like him. He's my distant cousin.
I mean, yeah, usually would use his psychic powers like to influence the perception others had of him. In fact, technically, we don't know what the Emperor really looks like. It is even theorized that one of the reasons the Sisters of Silence, that are the most powerful gnolls that work with the Custodians, and that were the original female Custodians before Games Workshop decided that they were always there and had been so useless throughout the entirety of 40k that they were never mentioned before 10th edition. And even when they were mentioned, the lore was so bad that I destroyed it in like 5 sentences. And one of them was literally, one of them is trying to teleport through a void shield. You cannot teleport through a void shield, especially the fucking edges. But, generally it is theorized that one of the reasons the Sisters of Silence take on the vow of silence, so they never speak again once they become completely initiated, is that because they are Gnomes, they are completely immune to psychic powers, even to the level of psychic powers the Emperor has, and they can see his true form. It is a theory, it is not confirmed, but it is theorized that they pretty much cannot speak just to not reveal what he looks like for real.
And also, real quick, Nemcro, thank you so much for the raid over on Twitch. How are you doing? How is your stream? And for those of you who may not know who I am, hello, I am Lumi. I also go by LumLum. I am sometimes a rat, sometimes a mermaid VTuber. Right now, we are watching Pontius's video on the true origins of the Emperor. We're going to be doing a little theory crafting after we are done talking about the basics about the Emperor and what we know. Well, I don't know shit. I'm letting the nerds talk it out.
The only thing that remains constant with LumLum is her love of feet.
Shut up!
I was going to say that, actually.
Oh, you little shits.
I don't know.
But anyways, feel free to just hang out if you need to raid and run. I hope you have a good day, and I will talk with you later. And I think I had a couple of super chats as well.
Arch is Lumi's Pio right now. Arch, you have been demoted too.
Boxember, do I have to pay with feet pics to watch this live? No!
Yes.
You're watching it live. Shut up! Animate Acumen, he's just Q from Star Trek. Julius Caesar and Napoleon are Biggie having Conqueror's erectile dysfunction from Alexander the Great run. Jesus Christ.
That is actually a thing. You know, great leaders throughout history have tended to have a hard time getting pee-pee hard.
Is that why they start waging war against people? Because they can't get pee-pee hard, but they need to show superiority or something?
No, it's because they've waged war against too many people that pee-pee doesn't get hard anymore. It's stressful.
Oh. I seen that Napoleon used to be like a handsome dude, but then he got fat after he started trying to conquer Spain.
I mean, of Napoleon, you should keep in mind the letter he sent to his wife while he was returning from a conquest. I will be in Paris in 3 days. Don't wash.
What?
Yeah, if anything, Napoleon was kind of the opposite. He had problems with pee-pee being a little bit too hard, usually being attracted to bad women too.
And I'm not making that up, LumLum. It is a real letter he sent.
Oh. I think I
You should read some of the
heard
letters
about
he
that.
wrote to his Polish lovers. Or his Austrian wife. Ooh.
You know, I'll do that after I'm done with Sharp.
He
Not
was
the
cucked
Korean
no
one.
less than 3 times by 3 different women, in case you didn't know.
Jesus Christ. Marksman of 117B, do a little dictator stream. Romance Italy. I don't have that game. I'll look into it. I don't know what my little dictator is. Sounds like a My Little Pony spin-off of something. I don't know. Update. Stop Killing Games needs only 116,000 more signatures. Nice.
Yeah, go and sign the petition for the good of video games. At least we try to do something.
Mm-hmm.
Yesterday it was 200,000. I'm happy for that.
Arch can relate to hard PP for bad women. Seeing his dating track record? Yes. Arch. And
They weren't bad when I found them. Actually, that's a lie, but they could have been worse.
Marksman
I dated normal women
117B.
too.
Keemcock, even the Emperor fears the Keemcock.
He does. The Keemcock is quite famous.
Did you ever watch or listen to that leak like you said you were going to?
I didn't, but I do kind of want to. It would be funny.
Just so you could say you watched it.
I'll listen to it more correctly.
Arch on LumLum's head fund. I mean, I could do that if you want. Let's see. To do that one.
LumLum, once you're done with Darkwood, you should play a game called Look Outside, which is a very funny name because the entire objective of the game is literally not to look outside.
I think I heard of that one. I've been wanting to play it, so yeah, I'll probably do that.
It's a pretty good horror game in the style of universal and astral horror of Lovecraft.
I will definitely give that a look. Alright, there you go. Arch on LumLum's head fund has been started. Larry playing TNO Last Days of Europe. What the heck is TNO? You're gonna have to specify. If it's any strategy games and you're trying to put them into letter form, I don't know them. Alright, let us...
Knew of the monstrosities living in the warp, and he had one single mission on which he was focused, eradicating chaos and the entities that were born from it. But on the opposite side, as he was aware of the warp and the chaos gods were aware of him.
The Chaos Powers sensed the presence of the new man and his efforts to curb their own power and growth. Even before they became fully conscious, the Chaos Powers recognized the Emperor as their greatest enemy. Khorne was the first of the great powers to wake fully, and an era of wars and conflict raged across the globe. Tzeentch was the next, and nation and politics grew to adulthood with all of their implicit intrigues and double dealings. Nurgle was the third to awake, and plagues swept across continents, claiming many souls for the Lord of Decay. By the end of the Middle Ages, all three of these Chaos Powers had awoken to full consciousness. The fourth power, Slaanesh,
that is eerily
still
reminiscent of today, isn't it? Wars, World War I, World War II, Tzeentch, modern-day politics, COVID, Nurgle, and now we're in the age of gooning. Turns out we are for Decay.
I will place the blame on LumLum for that.
What?
Slaanesh was created by your foot fetish. Admit it.
No, if anything, Slaanesh was created from my gore fetish. Excuse you.
Have you read Crossed yet?
No, I haven't had time.
You should.
Okay.
I've bought Crossed.
Arch play Hearts of Iron 4 TNO Last Days of Europe as Holy Russian Empire. You'll love it. I feel like Slaanesh is waking up now. Yeah.
The New World Order. Last Days of Europe.
Oh, that's what TNO means. Oh, no.
Oh, is that the Man in the High Castle one? Is it?
Why do you know the cross, Pontius? For the real reason I know anything. It looked cool. It looked interesting.
Hello, Boog. Thank you for the 50 Mexicans. Is this the correct color? This doesn't look teal to me. Small crew riding the fish fund. I think I'd have to switch to my other model to have everyone to be able to fit. Granted, I could just, like, make Arch disappear and then have the Arch plushie out. Yeah, no. Once we get there, that's when I'll decide. Anyways, let us continue.
As the Emperor lived through history, he started seeing the flow of chaos in more and more things and living beings. And when humanity fell into disarray in the Age of Strife, after the cybernetic revolt had stripped humans of their most advanced technologies and weapons, and the aliens that at once were allies of humanity turned on them, and started devastating what was left of the once great human federation of the Dark Age of technology, the Emperor took direct hand in the future of humanity, taking upon himself the name and title of Emperor of Mankind. A title that Malkador the Sigillite actually pushed him to adopt. He would arise as the greatest warlord on Terra. He would unearth the Golden Throne, a device the Emperor had found buried on the planet, and would start the events we are all aware of until now. Always single-minded, and always with a clear vision in his mind. the survival of humanity, as we can learn from the Book of the Last Church.
Did you not just speak to me of the horror of the Crusades? And what evil men do in the name of purity? You are no better than the holy men you were telling me about.
The difference is that I know I am right, Uriah.
Spoken like a true autocrat.
You misunderstand me.
I fucking hate the
I
Last
have
Church
seen
so
the narrow
much.
path that you
It is a bad book because it is literally an atheist wet dream, but it had good elements.
It did, but like I feel like it's a shallow argument, and the writer's like, yeah, I really got him here. Like, you're no better than the others, but I know I'm right. Like, it's a terrible argument. Except, no, he literally knows he's right. He actually unironically knows that he's right.
Yeah, when you have godlike powers, you know a few things more than just a random warlord.
It's the same thing that annoys me so much with Trench Crusade. They're like, oh, there's no good or bad in this world. It's literally hell.
Yeah, in fact, on my channel, there is literally a video where I explain in detail why humans are the good guys of 40k. I have yet to be debunked. There are people that hate me for that video, but I have yet to be debunked.
Just because they hate you, they still know that you're right.
Yep. Anyway, I will go back like 5 seconds because the Emperor is already hard to comprehend with the effects on, so...
path that humanity must walk to survive. This is how we must begin.
And now we know the answer to the question about the Emperor's true origins. But this raises another and a lot more
Stop
important
the video,
question.
LumLum. Look where we are. We answered the first question. So what is the rest of the video? We're 16 minutes in, out of 59.
Hey, that's the beauty of theory crafting. It's like, okay, so here's what we know. Anyways, let's look at the corkboard here and the various strings. Hello Pyrotechnics. Here's Munmun when Arch cat on Big E's lap. Xylon doppelganger, but the Emperor was wrong. Probably. Pontius is golden Italian of mankind. He is. Anything else I missed? Nope. Alright, let's get to it.
And with an answer so complicated and hidden that it spans almost 8 editions of Warhammer 40k lore. Why does he exist? And from here, I fell into a rabbit hole of which I have yet to see the end. While there might be a lot of speculation on the true origins of the Emperor of Mankind on many other YouTube channels, I believe we have found ultimate proof not only of his origins, but of the origins of the human race itself. But be prepared, the answer is far from simple, and it will change how you see the Emperor forever once we are done explaining it.
I can already feel the Purotism energy flowing through Danny.
Our story starts in the most unorthodox of places. It starts in the book of Xenology, released in 2006. This book has a very simple cast. We have Inquisitor Rayleigh, a radical of the Ordo Xenos now confirmed dead at the beginning of the book. The main character, Inquisitor Brehm Sasham, a Puritan of the Conclave Conservati of the Ordo Xenos, and a Magos biologist called Darvus. The story by itself is simple. Inquisitor Sasham is contacted by the Ordo Xenos faction of the Conservati with news of the death of Inquisitor Rayleigh, and is ordered to rush on the planet of Biegel Ninth, as mentions were found in the files of Rayleigh of an hidden lab on the planet, where the Conclave might find proof of the heresies of the Radical Inquisitor and expose him for the heretic he was even now that he's dead.
Since intercepting this welcome report, we in the Conclave have suppressed all news of the heretic's demise. Alas, it will not take long for Raleigh's friends, powerful friends, to discover his death and attend to his legacy. We must act quickly to expose any trace of his foul deeds, thus casting disgrace upon his peers and strengthening our own brotherhood's standing within the Ordo. Amongst Raleigh's files, there exists reference to a research facility on Beagle 9. Evidently, he assumed governance of this world and established for himself a private enterprise. There is no place better to seek evidence of his crimes. You have 10 days, Sasham. We dare not conceal Raleigh's death any longer. Get to Beagle 9, decommission this facility and record everything. The purity of the Ordo Xenos demands it. A serpent has grown strong in the company of lions, and it falls to you to smother its wickedness.
Now, this book is weird in structure. It is a mixture between a narrative, a codex, and a science book. Not to say that it is bad, because it's not, but it is certainly unorthodox when it comes to usual 40k content. We will go generally through the story of the book, but not too much in detail, as the main part that interests us is the scientific findings that will happen on Biegel 9. When Inquisitor Sasham arrived on the world, he found a structure that indeed was a secret lab built by Inquisitor Rayleigh. And it wasn't abandoned either. Inside it, other than servitors and machines, a single human was overseeing the entire lab. A certain Magos biologist Darvus. To the horror of Inquisitor Sasham, the laboratory was a Xenos research facility, with alien prisoners kept in cells and studied by both Rayleigh when he was alive and on the planet, and by Darvus when he wasn't. The Inquisitor will deliver an ultimatum to Darvus. In 10 days, he will burn the place down and demolish it with everything that was inside. But after various pleadings and a gamble by Darvus, the Magos biologist was allowed to end the Xenos in the lab one by one and perform dissections, as a final rushed examination of the Xenos for any new information the Imperium might learn. Darvus was not all there with his head. Other than Inquisitor Rayleigh, the only friend he had for the last 15 years was the Krut prisoner of the laboratory. A Krut named Gakar that helped Darvus in his endeavors around the lab.
Krut girlfriend?
No, it's a male Krut.
I'm still shipping it.
There is a reason you live in a basement, Pio. Now, as the story goes on, Inquisitor Sasham delves deeper into the library of the lab left by Rayleigh, while Darvus performs his executions and vivisections on the subjects he has in the lab. Pretty much one from every major Xenos race of 40k, and some even from minor ones. One of them I even suspect of being the orb that the Marines end up fighting in the Astartes fan-made series, the race known as the Umbra. But as the dissections go on, Darvus starts noticing something a little intriguing. After dissecting the Tau ethereal female, and little parenthesis, this dissection confirms that they indeed do have pheromones in their bodies that could be used to influence other members of their race. Darvus will note on the general observations,
subject's anatomy suggests a highly developed species of analogous physical durability to mankind. Physical structure, general organic processes, and reproductive anatomy all show remarkable similarities. Is this racial parallelism purely coincidental?
The same thing would happen after the dissection of the Elder Exodite kept in the lab.
Subject's external and structural anatomy is shockingly human analogous. As anticipated, internal elements reflect extraterrestrial origin. Overall complexity precludes classification and identification of elements. All organs display an unsurpassed aesthetic order and configuration, suggesting a level of development far exceeding our own. All findings are ultimately speculative. Subject represents a being of such highly evolved composition it is doubtful we could even comprehend the function of certain structures, even given time to study them. NB. Why should a creature of such obvious superiority and distinction reflect our structural patterns so closely? See also Tau, Hrud, Orc.
And, at least partially, the same thing and similarities at least to human ancestors will be noticed even in the species of the Orcs.
Subject's biology displays quality redolent of both animal and fungal physiotypes. Fungal portion suggests a highly durable network of fungal microorganisms negating complex internal organs, immunosystems, and reproductive anatomy. Animal biology suggests primate analog, i.e. primitive pack-based omnivore. Twin systems argue perfectly but lack evidence of evolutionary process, i.e. vestigial structures. Conclusion. I will suggest that the subject is the result of highly advanced biological engineering, representing the perfect symbiosis of simple, durable, aggressive organic systems.
Now, to go back to the story of the book a bit, Sasham will continue with the reports of his findings to the Ordo Xenos, especially for the weaknesses Darvus was spotting and reporting as potentially exploitable by the Imperium of Men, to end the lives of specific Xenos races. And he slowly started moving from a completely Puritan Inquisitor to a more radical position. Where Puritans wanted to burn the aliens on sight, Sasham was starting to understand them, study them. Not for pleasure, but to know how to hate them and kill them better. But strange things started happening on the planet. First thing, Darvus would often stare numbly and speak with an empty cell in the lab, specifically Cell 1. A cell that observed by Sasham showed no alien inside. And yet Darvus insisted there was one, without any kind of doubt. Other strange things that happened were defenses engaging at random, the central matrix of the facility going rogue, even the psyker of the retinue of Sasham being found dead, and the responsibility of her demise given to the crude assistant of Darvus, with the equivalent of a manhunt starting in the labs to find him. To be honest, the woman had a bite mark on her body, but as we learn later, it wasn't he that killed her. Specimens will start escaping containment, various tyrannids, and especially a lictor that got out of his cell and attacked the human population revolting outside the lab. Nobody having noticed this escape, as his cell seemed to almost open randomly. It was then that another inquisitorial transport ship appeared on the orbit of the world. Sasham theorized they were Rayleigh's allies that had come for the lab, but he wasn't sure. He tried contacting them, but there was no response. He tried contacting his own ship, and it seemed to have simply disappeared from orbit. Inquisitorial forces will start coming down. Bombardment targeting escapes from the lab, and even Sasham's own personal transport will strand him and Darvus inside the lab. Darvus was slowly going more and more insane. All of the people in the retinue of Sasham were dead, and he was slowly sinking more and more in the library of Rayleigh. Darvus was still slaughtering and dissecting his own alien friends. At least he considered them friends, and that was slowly causing him to go mad. It is at this point that Sasham will locate the first and biggest piece of the puzzle to answer the question of the true origins of the Emperor, and the reasons the Emperor of mankind and humanity at large exist. And the first part of that answer comes from this tablet. Let's delve into it, shall we?
Ref to attached sketch. I found the stone tablet on the surface of Torakai 4, an elder exodite community, a day before its destruction at the hands of the Tarantula Space Marines conducting an exterminatus campaign. This drawing is the only record of its existence, and with the aid of xenolinguitors, I have since deciphered its pictographic tale. The story is followed from the bottom upwards and is told in 4 distinct tiers. The top of the tablet and a possible 5th tier was missing at the time of my study. The account can be related as follows. Lowest tier. A series of enigmatic figures, each with its own runic and pictorial identity. Gods or entities gathered together. Iconic flames or winds linked them to the 2nd tier, suggesting an element of narrative causality. The first begets the second. Thus, the figures depicted at the foot of the tablet could be speculated to be creating those of the 2nd tier. 2nd tier. A host of iconized creatures seemingly being created by the shadowy figures below. Note certain recognizable features as well as a myriad of unknown others. 3rd tier. A violent conflict, seemingly between the ancient creators of the 1st tier and a mysterious enemy, represented here by a featureless face and a complex runic description. We must assume, given their positioning between opposing forces, that the races of Tier 2 are a fundamental part of this war. At either edge of the tablet, the shadowy figures are seen fleeing from the spatial borders of the monolith, defeated by the skull-faced enemy. 4th tier, partially missing. My calculus logi presented a dozen alternative meanings for this section, but suggested it is most likely that the 2 boxed panels, connected as they are by those same firewind strands to Tier 1, represent members of the shadowy creators who survived the war. The boxes will seem to suggest they are instead imprisoned, either by their enemies or within the physical forms they have adopted. The first is characterized by a split mask, laughing and crying at the same instant upon a webbed background. The second appears to show a clawed, bloody hand, but has been defaced or deliberately fractured by a violent rending of the stone. There is also evidence of a 3rd box panel, lost along with the final tier. I have since scoured the records of the Librium Xenos and the Archivati of Terra for information upon the missing fragment, but have discovered nothing.
Now, let's give it a bit of context, even if keep in mind the date in which this tablet was recorded and catalogued in the library.
I just seen somebody in chat saying I could feel Arch thinking, oh yeah, this thing. Have you talked about this funny stone before, Arch?
Oh, this is the thing. Oh, the species in the galaxy, we know they were all created by the old ones. That's why they have similarities.
Yep.
It's like I can make out some of the shapes and stuff. It's like this one just looks like a Kriegsman. You can see the gas mask right there.
No,
like the
now
Emperor
there's an
was in all due
intersection.
likelihood created as yet another weapon to fight against the Necrons, as the humans were supposed to be the next step up in psychic species, as the Eldar had proven, well, shit at their jobs.
Yeah.
You're close to the truth, but not that much. Like, yes, you are right on where the story is going, but not including the Necrons, not in the specifics.
Ignum BA. Sorry guys, I understand that my narrations can be boring. Please try to keep watching. The video is awesome.
Yeah,
Hey!
he's the narrator of the channel.
I like your narrations. It is very good. If I was a dude, I would love to have your narration voice. You'd be perfect for like audiobooks and stuff. Don't give yourself shit like that. You're doing great.
I mean, you heard how LumLum dubbed her role in the video, so you know you're superior. No, I'm joking. You guys were both good, actually.
I still can't get over the fact that you weren't able to alter my voice at all, and I was just corrupted.
I have done research. I don't get what the problem was. If I tried to alter, even to just pitch your voice a bit lower to make it a bit more menacing, the program will just corrupt it. I don't get what the fuck was happening with it.
Yeah, I don't know. It's funny to think about, though. You alter my voice a little bit, I'll corrupt everything.
Yeah, no, but in the end it worked out well. It was all a matter of tone, not really the pitch of the voice.
And there's me. I say two shitty phrases of nonsense, and then I go away.
Oh, you're doing
You say two shitty phrases of nonsense, and you have more fans in the fucking channel than me. And I write your shitty phrases of nonsense. So skill issue, fuck you. Write your own jokes, so let's see how funny you are without another Italian writing them for
I
you.
mean, in the first videos, I was.
Him says, "Oh, thank you guys. It means a lot." Oh, no problem. Keep up the great work. You're doing great.
Anyway, yeah, don't worry, LumLum. Now the next section is literally me explaining what everything on the tablet means. So you are not left in doubt.
The LumLum voice has an Eldritch component. I don't mean to be, like, that way, I guess. Hello, Pio Arch. Watch My Dress Up Darling. He does need to watch My Dress Up Darling before Season 2 comes out in a couple of weeks. Season 2's coming out no, I think that's coming out next week. Oh, it's gonna be great. Pontius, it's the rage virus from Blue Sky.
The char supporting Pio, where is you cannot understand how heavy it is that every time I find somebody that is a fan of the channel, it is always like, oh yeah, you like the videos, who do you like the most? Pio. And I'm like, fuck you. It is always Pio, it is nobody else. Actually, I contacted LumLum to do the voice of Alicia Dominica for her final narration in the video of the Age of Apostasy. She does Alicia Dominica in the video.
Reading the comments popping up, it's like, oh, how many feed pics you have to send LumLum to be able to do this? You little shits.
I mean, it was just Alpha Nerd Disc, so.
Just an everyday void traveler. Pio, you got sent to the Demonculaba for your jokes. What do you mean?
Well, to be honest, in defense of Pio, the jokes he got sent for in the Demonculaba, I was the one that wrote them, so.
He just wanted to send me in the Demonculaba.
Yeah, you never had a choice. You were going to the Demonculaba one way or another.
Of Rayleigh. 785 and 41. The first tier are obviously the old ones, the creators of life in the galaxy. We can infer this because the second tier, which is the races they created, bears a lot of Xenos, but one in particular is pretty recognizable. And by sight above all others, it is the favorite creation of the old ones. Those are the Eldars. The third tier is obviously the Necrons. That is a Necron head, and the old one figure seen fleeing is fleeing from a pylon. That is a Blackstone pylon, the ultimate psychic blocker in the 40k universe. The fourth tier are the Eldar gods, that are in fact inferred to not be creations of the old ones. But this, together with other sources, documents that they are old ones that adopted a different form. They became the gods of the Eldars, and hid at the end of the war with the Necrons and the Katans. Of the two boxes we see, one is completely scratched out, but by description it shows a clawed and bloody hand, the symbol of the Elder God of Cain. His hand left tainted with blood after his murder of Eldanesh, the first and greatest of the Eldari. But the first box is a lot more comprehensible. The multicolored mask is none other than Chegorach. And the web you see behind him is nothing else than the Webway, the realm he now resides in, as he and the Harlequin's faction are the guardians of the Black Library of the Webway. But as the comment of Rayleigh adds, there seems to be a fifth tier, a tier that is currently missing. But 18 years later, Rayleigh will be able to locate the fifth tier.
I have the missing fragment, sketched in secret from the library of the Conclave Conservat itself. What hypocrisy is this? They snarl and scoff at the idea of Xenology, yet hoard its greatest treasures for themselves. My calculus logi tells me the scope of possibility defies a simple definition to this fifth tier, but I feel sure I can decipher the pictograms myself. I have spent my life learning of the Xenos infesting our Imperium. Their legends are codebooks to the histories of the galaxy, and here is the final piece to the puzzle. No wonder the Conclave have resisted its exposure. They'll kill me if they discover I have it.
And here, things get complicated. So, time to pay attention, because the fifth tier is none other than a human child.
I'm sorry, I like the little drawing. And just the ominous music of it's a human child.
What is worse than a rapist and the meme, a child? No!
Oh, God. Someone said, considering your Avatar of Cain video, this ought to spark some convo. Oh, he was pointing that at Arch. I don't know, I didn't watch it. I didn't watch his Avatar of Cain video. The fuck's that about, Arch?
I don't know.
Thank you for your riveting conversation. Turns out it's a man.
It's a long time ago.
The dementia's
Also,
getting to him.
I'm unless they've retconned the Eldar gods, I don't know about the old ones being gods.
No, recently they have released some material now. I don't remember precisely where, but they have released various things that infer that the Elder Gods aren't a creation of the old ones, but are in fact old ones that have adopted and adapted to a minor form just to be pretty much a guidance for the Eldari race. So, yeah.
That invalidates a lot of Eldar lore.
I mean, recently they even tried to invalidate the Wraithbone, so I'm not surprised of that. Games Workshop hates the Elder. So...
I mean, who doesn't?
I mean, they do good, but I would like their lore to be interesting at least.
Let's see. Arch claimed Cain to be a construct of the Eldar in his video, and that Eldar could create gods as easily as tools.
Yep.
I mean, the Avatar of Cain, I mean, that is true for the Avatar of Cain, but for Cain itself, I doubt it. They would have made another one by this point. It was the God of War.
They can't make them. They can't make them after Slanesh. Because they realized that fucking with this shit could have unfortunate circumstances.
I mean, the Elder Gods were pretty fucking useless if they let the events that led to Slanesh being born happen. But okay.
Well, no, because they were created in the exact same way. Slanesh was created by the Eldar in the exact same way they created Isha and Cain. It's just that those were created specifically for purposes, whereas Slanesh was a result of them being a hyperactive psychic race.
I see. Let's see. Nurgle raped an old one.
I mean, he's technically not wrong.
God damn. Let's see. AOK is my favorite 40k unit, full stop. What's AOK? I don't know what
Why are you looking at me?
I'm looking over at my chat. I'm not looking at you specifically, Arch. To be fair, they made them in the War of Heaven era. Avatar of Cain, LumLum. Oh, well, I'm not good at Shit that's shortened down and I don't know anything about it. Meh.
The 5th year of the Stone Tablet, describing the origins of the Eldars and general life in the galaxy, has as its final tier a human child. This obviously unleashed a myriad of theories, but I subscribe to 2 in particular. This is either the human race at large, being created by the last remaining old ones before they were slaughtered by the Katans and the Necrons, or that by itself is not only humanity, but the soul of the Star Child, as you will know it, the Emperor of Mankind. Things from here will move fast. Darvus went completely insane, using a scalpel to wound himself while repeating that the metal lives. All of this will reach an end when the matrix of the lab will completely get corrupted. And it is then that Darvus opened Cell 1, the empty one, and out of it came a Necron, fully active and aware. By now the forces of the Inquisition were at the doors and bombing the lab. It is then that something happened. It seems Rayleigh appeared in the lab and attacked Sasham. When Sasham awoke, he had been administered a muscle relaxant and was tied to a table. The cogitator recording their conversation went in error when trying to record the identity of the person speaking to him, simply recording him as unknown one. Necron runes littered the entire page of the conversation. And here, the final revelation happens. At least in years 790 and 41, keep in mind that the events we are talking about take place in 805 and 41, Inquisitor Rayleigh was found and killed by a Necron that stole his identity and features to infiltrate the Ordo Xenos. He had falsified Sasham orders to bring him here and forced Darvus to dissect and analyze the aliens that were now infesting the galaxy, to learn more about them, but specifically, to learn about humanity at large. Let me read you some passages. It was Darvus who forced my hand. For 15 years I've kept him, my little pet. His mind was so distorted I could feed him what lies I chose. He thought he served his Imperium. He thought he toiled for the good of mankind. The poor fool. For 15 years he standed and observed whatever alien filth we brought him. We didn't foresee his attachment. It became necessary to introduce a new element, something to hasten his dissections. And now we have awoken to find our heritage soiled, sullied by the mongrel progeny of our most ancient foes. Our master has a mind to know his enemies. Little man and Darvus. This brilliant broken mind. He was our instrument of study. So we waited. We filled the cells of the bestiary. We gathered what knowledge we could. Then, when our lord's whim dictated, we brought you here. We slaughtered your war talker. We spread rumor and discontent. We pricked and harried you. We played you. Tell me, as you trolled through the records we created, as you struggled to divine weaknesses in those creatures whose existence held you so entranced, did you not stop to think what records might relate to your own kind? What is your own weakness? The answer is knowledge. Even trapped in your cage of prejudice, how quickly the text seduced you. How quickly all else faded. It is a weakness our master can use. It is a weakness you shall regret revealing. Dear Sasham, it's taken me a century to insinuate my way into your Inquisition. There are few of my kind capable. Most are mindless, pure, undistracted by personality. But there are those of us who remember, lords and ladies of another age, converted and purified, but not cleansed of memory. I remember the frailty of emotion, the weakness of the flesh, the imperfection of mortality. Hiding amongst your kind was no challenge at all. In my bearing, in my diaries, in my notes, I have been Inquisitor Rayleigh. Am I not a convincing counterfeit? Little man, the master has it in mind to observe one more dissection. Our poor friend Darvus has grown weary of slaughter. Perhaps it would be a kindness to leave you alive, yes? So he can enjoy his work? It is implied that Darvus vivisected Inquisitor Sasham in front of the false Inquisitor Rayleigh and killed him in the process. And before you...
Super chat real quick. Hello, LumLum. You forgot to read one of my super chats on Monday. This made me very sad. As penance, you may choose one of the following. 1. Say my name. Nope. 2. Sing an original song of mine on the Archcast. Nope. 3. Declare me as the official 6,969th subscriber of your channel. Yeah, sure. You're a little early there. But you're gonna have to unsubscribe then resubscribe if you want that to happen. Also, ever played Dead Space 2008? Long time ago. I know, I was thinking of playing the remake, but then I heard the remake was eh.
You should play 2 though. 2 is very good.
I heard 2 is very good. Well, the original Dead Space 2. I know that they're remaking Dead Space 2 as well.
No, they canceled the remake of Dead
Oh.
Space 2, so you're good.
Okay. Let's see. Boog did a proper subgroup of Subsano Bisc? Huh? Because the CR localization is done by that pink-haired weirdo, Small Arch Pio, best Italian. Let's see, I already read that one. Alex Adamson, Lumi should watch The Last Church. It's got some good scenes of people getting shredded by bolters. And here's your money for Call of Duty World at War. You're going to learn about World War II the right way. Okay. And War Turkify, Arch will convert LumLum into a new type of Titan.
A fit Titan.
Foot Titan. A giant plodding monstrosity, no doubt.
Ugh. Alex, I was reading the supers. I read all of them before that already. I like the remake. It was fun. You need to play Nazi zombie mode on World at War. I will buy World at War soon. The Stomper Titan.
really good.
Shut up.
Sorry.
Yeah, shut up.
Oh shit.
You comment that then everything we read is false? No. Keep in mind, he says so himself that he has been Inquisitor Rayleigh. He was a counterfeit, meaning that there is an original, and taking the identity of somebody already inside the Inquisition is easier than a Necron being accepted in the ranks of the Inquisition completely at random. Now, from his own comment, the false Inquisitor has conducted this experiment with Darvus for at least 15 years. This actually clashes with the date in which the 5th tier of the tablet was found, which is 803 M41, and that is just a few years prior to the current events, meaning that it was the false Inquisitor that put it there. But trust me on this, the 5th tier is not made up, he is not lying. Remember, he commented himself, already revealed on Necron, that now we have awoken to find our heritage soiled, sullied by the mongrel progeny of our most ancient foes. He's clearly speaking of the old ones. He is not speaking of Xenos alone, but in general. He is including humanity in this categorization. And not only. Let me repeat one of the passages. Tell me, as you trolled through the records we created, as you struggled to divine weaknesses in those creatures whose existence held you so entranced, did you not stop to think what records might relate to your own kind? He obviously is hinting at that damn tablet. This is relating to humans, because the 5th tier is indeed correct. But there is the elephant in the room to discuss. The fact that this Necron mentions that he is a servant of the master known as the Deceiver. Now, this is 4th edition. By this point the Necrons were servants of the Catans, not enemies. They hadn't shattered their gods yet. But the fact that sects of the Necrons exist that still serve the Catans is still a thing present into canon. There is a Necron Catan cult in Sword of Cult, another one in Nightbringer. And even after the Book of Nightbringer was retconned, the Necron cult still was working for the Shard of the Nightbringer. There is also various appearances of this phenomenon in the Cyphers Kane series. The point is that this is still canon. A Catan cult still worshipped a Shard of the Nightbringer on Pavonis, that then appeared later in another book. And another Catan cult stole the Shadow Light from Cyphers Kane during the 13th Black Crusade. So Necrons working for Catan shards is not out of canon, on the contrary. Thank God it is somebody working for the Deceiver and not the Deceiver himself, as the Deceiver is the equivalent of a perpetual possible retcon made into a sentient being.
Why wouldn't you trust this if it came from the Deceiver?
What do you mean? He's called the Deceiver. It would be like trusting something told to you by a human called the Liar Make Fakerton.
Both of them seem very worthy of trust.
And that is why Pio Servo is actually superior to you, Pio.
You take that back immediately.
Point being that the Necron had no reason to lie. He knew that he wouldn't let Darvus or Sasham escape alive. It was his private library. Why feed him lies when the truth was a lot more compelling to learn that the weakness of humanity is indeed knowledge? But if we took only this as proof of our theory, we wouldn't have done a good job at investigating. So now we will move to the second source that proves that humanity and the Emperor are old ones related. And that is a book...
Yes, Bolivar, I want to buy a long glass fitted with
fuck?
an anti-gravitical stabilizing scope. Danny, can you keep it down a bit? I'm trying to buy weapons.
Pio, we are in the middle of a video here.
No, I can't speak. Yes, that servo-armed bastard will see which one of us
You know, I do like this in the back. Every Pontius video barges into your homepage, drops an hour-and-a-half video of an unknown piece of 40k lore, elaborates no further, insults Pio, refuses to leave.
Yeah, it pretty much describes the entire channel.
I gotta say, it's hard to know when Pontius is talking live versus just his video. I mean, heck...
My quality is literally in the shitter because I'm using a shitty microphone. How can you not distinguish it?
I don't know. I can't really tell the difference. It sounds just fine to me on both ends.
It makes me wonder if I wasted my money on like a 290 euros professional microphone for the videos.
Possibly. I would think while the original was scarier, the remake has much more tension with how they apply jump scares, as random encounters truly feel random. Ah, I see. It's the thick accent? Ah, yes. Understandable.
Passi superior when a last bolt goes directly through his eye.
It sounded just like Berserk 2016.
Yeah, I wanted to use the clang from Berserk 2016, but they were impossible to use because they were too shitty of quality even for that.
It's so bad. Will Pontius ever publish his 254 pages about the Tau fantasy? Not fantasy, fussy? Tau... Are you writing not safe work fanfics about the Tau, Pontius?
It is Tau for Eadus, and it's 497 pages, not 254.
What? Are you gonna publish
No, it's
that
a
into
joke.
a book?
It's a joke in an older video where Pio was subjected to an entire PowerPoint of 497 pages about how Tau for Eadus is the best experience you can have in 40k.
The forehead, I see. Ugh. Wait, how does Pio on the latest model of cell phone? He stayed in the basement and had his riches taken by Servitor Pio.
I mean, he was the president of Brazil for a few days.
He probably got the cell phone before Servitor Pio took everything away.
No, I've just stole it.
Oh.
Based.
He broke LumLum about Forestry. Fascinating. I haven't looked into anything not safe for work about really anything 40k. I only get sent stuff by Pontius. And that's about it.
Based,
as I was saying, the next piece of the puzzle is contained in a book called Belisarius Cawl, The Great Work. Indeed, a very recent 40k book by all standards. But before delving into it, let me explain a few things. I don't like new lore. If I didn't have to study it for videos, I wouldn't read anything past the Fall of Cadia. Especially if it has fucking Belisarius Cawl in the middle. I love good characters. I can make fun of very bad characters. But Belisarius Cawl is literally a plot device on spider legs. I can't stand him with all my being. So I hope you understand how much of an headache reading a book with him as a co-protagonist was. But what don't we do for lore research? And the second and last thing I want to add is that
that was asked in the chat. If the old ones created all life in the galaxy, did they also create the Necrons and the Katan? The Katan most certainly no, but the Necrons, yes. In fact, for another video we researched with a Necron expert, various sources talking about their origins. We found exactly zero proof saying that they weren't created by the Katans. We found various sources that said that hinted that they were in fact a creation of the Katans, which would actually make sense because they pretty much were doomed by their own creation, the old ones.
Crawl the warp squirrel. Huh? Call the warp squirrel. If the old ones created all life in the galaxy, did they also create the Necrons and the Katan?
No. Not all life. The Necron tier were there. They were an ancient enemy, in fact, of the old ones. The Katans are star vampires, who then converted their Necron tier into Necrons.
Yeah, but I've even looked at it for various sources when I was making my video about the Imperium are the good guys. There is nothing even hinting that the Necron tier were a creation of another species. Like, generally, we didn't find complete confirmation. Like, there was nothing saying 100% they were created by the old ones. But generally, from what we saw, there was some hinting at the fact that they were created together with the other races, were a creation of the old ones. Even because by the wording that is used to explain the old ones, they seeded life in the galaxy, which could mean pretty much anything. It could mean they brought just a few races, or it could mean they literally created all life. But the wording specifically makes me think that the Necron tier also were at least, even if not intentionally, a creation of the old ones. Then they were evolved into the Necrons, were more evolved, more transposed into the Necrons by the Catans. But I would actually wonder at that point, what the fuck are the Catans? Are they like material gods to the opposite of the Immaterium? Like, how do they work? But yeah. There wasn't any proof saying they weren't created by the old ones. There were some stuff hinting that they were created by the old ones, and this all was done in the presence of the biggest Necron expert that I've ever met, that actually helped in the creation of this video. So,
That's why the Necrons only fractured them and didn't just outright kill them. This could have been avoided if the old ones gave a cure for cancer to the Necrons. Yeah. If they really
no,
said
Necron pariahs are not canon anymore. Even if I don't get why Games Workshop got rid of them, but okay. Even if, yeah, it does make sense, because why the fuck do you need pariahs when almost your entire race is pariahs? They don't have souls.
You know, it seems like GW is just slowly trying to erase or retcon anything that's connected to any type of old lore, just so it's like, no, anything before this point no longer canon. It doesn't exist anymore. Just keep old fans out. I don't know, that's my own little theory, but I'm sure it's actually happening.
Yeah, it might be happening. Seeing how literally openly hostile Games Workshop has become by this point, even with the new shotgun type of oh my god, I think my connection is dying today. It is giving me problems. Am I lagging?
No, you sound fine.
Okay, good. Okay, no, but like generally with this shotgun kind of new lawsuit that they have brought in, where they're suing like 240 people in the US for various things and such, selling of minis, creation of STRs. There was even a random guy that got included in the lawsuit because he was selling mouse pads with the Warhammer robot from BattleTech, and he had to pay $900 to an attorney to explain the situation and get removed from the lawsuit. Like, at this point, the Games Workshop has become openly hostile to anybody, so I wouldn't be surprised if they start retconning the lore just to piss off their own fans.
The depiction given of Chapter Master Trashan in the first 6 chapters of this book. I don't know what got into Guy Haley, he's usually a master in writing good characters. He wrote my favorite 40k book ever, which is Dante, but Chapter Master Trashan, the last firstborn Chapter Master of the size of the Emperor, in the first 6 chapters of this book is written like a depressed emo teenager. Again, if I wasn't researching for this video, I would have put down the book the second time he called himself and the firstborn brothers useless, and the Primarchs the future and superior.
That was an ironic in my reaction, but I didn't want to buy another
There is
keyboard.
good ways to write a depressed but proud character. The worst ones were used for Chapter Master Trashan. Thank God the stroke Guy Haley was having ended after the first 6 chapters, and the character redeemed himself into one of the best of the book. Now, I will just generally give the story of the book, but just for context, as it is very tangentially related to the subject at hand. The book sees Belisarius Cawl, the last firstborn members of the size of the Emperor, and Tetrax Felix and his retinue of bodyguards returning to Sota, the now scarred home planet of the size of the Emperor, destroyed by an Hive fleet some centuries before in a battle in which Trashan, their firstborn chapter master, took part. The planet has been scarred of all life on it. No oceans, no atmosphere. It is pretty much an empty rock drifting in space, but Belisarius Cawl wanted to investigate it, as he suspects that the planet is home to an ancient Necron structure that works as a communication relay. Now, to put it simply, Sota, the planet destroyed by the Tyranids, was home to the prison of a Katan shard built by the Necrons to power a Pharos. In fact, Blackstone was common under the mountains over which the fortress monastery of the Scythes was built. After a lot of battles with remnants of the Tyranids left behind to guard the planet, a lot of dead marines, and even tangential battles with the Scarab Necrons that emerged from the mountains, Felix, Alpha Primus, and Belisarius Cawl managed to infiltrate the structure of the Katan relay. After a lot of fuckery involving time, space,
To be honest,
gravity,
while
and such,
reading
they
this
reached the
book,
sarcophagus.
the only thing that kept me sane was Alpha Primus inside the book, because like even Pio has read the book, at least the parts inherent to the video, and he has my same opinion, which is the arrogance of Belisarius Cawl is so fucking annoying through and through. The only thing that kept me sane while reading it was Alpha Primus, that would sporadically and in the face of Belisarius Cawl just insult him in every way possible. Like Belisarius Cawl will say, yes, I can do it because I'm magnificent, and then Alpha Primus will just go, no, you can do it because you are smart, but you are also an arrogant prick. Yeah, it was the only thing that kept me sane throughout this fucking book, because for the rest, removing the storyline of trash and at least gets good towards the end, the book was very shitty.
Helldrake LumLum, next Wednesday will you begin or deep dive into the Night Lords like you did with the guard / the Necrons? If yes, can I PM a video to react to for that stream? You can PM me the video next week. I forgot what we were doing. I think we're doing, no, not Rogue Trader. I don't know, I'm playing a game next week. Fuck, what am I doing next week? I forgot which game it was. Was it? I think it's Darktide. I think next week we're playing Darktide. Yeah, I think we're doing
If you don't say even once I am the law, I will get angry. While playing the Arbite.
Let's see, the 5th Courier. Hi, LumLum. Arch, make more videos with Dark Angels. Long live Pontius. Glory to Pio Stan.
That's the name of that's a really good name for my empire.
Oh,
the Empire of the Basement.
I mean,
just
hey,
a series of tunnels.
I was about to say that. Just all of Pio's tunnels connect to every basement around the world. He doesn't need to go to the surface anymore. And that's how the rats will just start rising. He will have an army of rats behind him.
Like the homeless king from John Wick.
Yes.
Yeah, and he will give the best target to the rats to defeat his every enemy. Defeat.
Mr. Twisted Frenzy, Lumi playing Road Trader. Yes, yes. I have a lot of things that I need to play. People keep gifting me Warhammer games. I'm like, shit.
Where the original Catans imprisoned on Sota were kept. 8 of them, in fact. 7 of them now dead. As we learn later, devoured by the 8 to survive. Belisarius Cawl would interface with the being. And then, these exchanges would happen. And from here, I will guide you through my mental process for all the connections that were made.
Again, Cole screamed. The pain was a phantom but felt all too real. Every one of his augmentations was carefully ripped away and pulled out for display. The Pharaoh sought to model him and turn back his existence through time to see what he had been before. It was all illusory, but it still hurt.
Nerve impulse. Organic, bioelectrical, overlaid mechanical and electronic enhancements, but evolved from...
The thing paused.
You are one of their things, ultimately.
Another pause.
You do not know this. You are ignorant of your genesis, a debased thing of a debased age.
One of their things? Is he referring to what I think he is? Is he confirming what the tablet said?
These are the gods of your time. God of machines, gods of chaos, gods of man.
It paused, evaluating the word.
There is weakness in this era. You are a man. You are weak. Your species is weak. Far removed from the original plan of our enemy. These are not gods you worship. This machine god, these entities in the warp, this emperor, we will explain. The first is a lie. The second are emergent consciousnesses caused by etheric disturbance. The third is a weapon.
It paused at this.
There is war. The rift. A rift has opened. The purity of reality is polluted. The war continues. Our war. You fight it, but you are weak. You are echoes of might, bloodsome purity. Glory has left this galaxy.
The god of machines is a lie? Yes, it checks out. The machine god is nothing more than the Katan shard of the Void Dragon residing in the Noctis Labyrinth. So it is a lie. And the Chaos gods are indeed emergent consciousness caused by etheric disturbance. But the Emperor? A weapon? Could it be? Who is this Katan shard?
For eons we have been imprisoned within this mountain. For eons we have plotted our revenge. 8 fragments of 8 gods were given over to slavery here. We consumed the others to survive. The Necron tier are fools. They are arrogant. They kept too large a piece of us alive to power this nodal point of theirs. They will regret it. For we remember what we were, and what we will one day be again. We are the ultimate manifestation of order. No logic or illogic can bind me. We are Zarulash, the potentate. We are Katan of the stars and the tides of time and light. We are the manifestation of this universe's form and being. We are a god, and you will serve me. Set me free.
This Katan is not lying. If it is the biggest of the shards, and by definition the most powerful, it is truly the closest thing to a god of the material realm. He has no reason to lie to Cawl. He is an insect compared to it. He can destroy him with a single thought. And he's not the Deceiver. The Deceiver gets his way by manipulation. This Katan gets his way by sheer might and power. The Emperor is a weapon. A weapon for what? And from here, the entire lore was blown fully open for me. And I made the final connection that brought us to an answer. Now we know the human race at least, if not the Emperor himself, were created by the Old Ones. Their last creation before being defeated. But why? If they were created, there must be a reason. The question persists. Why? The Emperor is a weapon, and is described as one. But again, why? The Emperor is a psyker. The human race is a psychic race. It was the first, the most powerful. And yet, the warp. The answer is the warp. Follow me now. Things get complicated pretty fast. The Old Ones created humanity, and probably the Emperor himself. And it all relates to the warp. Can you imagine why? It is simple. The warp itself, the Immaterium, wasn't always the equivalent of 40k hell like it is known today. In fact, various publications made for 40k hint at the fact that at one point the warp was a more peaceful realm. Not completely peaceful, mind you, it's the warp after all, but a lot less dangerous. Like it is described in both codexes of the Eldar for 4th and 6th edition, and they pretty much say both the same thing.
On hundreds of idyllic planets seeded across the stars, the Eldar pursued their inclination as they willed, indulging every dream and investigating every curiosity. They mastered the labyrinth dimension of the webway, expanding their realms into the furthest corners of reality and learned much about the universe that has since been forgotten. When their spirits eventually left their mortal bodies, they dissolved peacefully back into the ether to be reborn again, for the warp did not thirst for elder souls then as it does today.
And it isn't the only publication mentioning this. In fact, the most recent mention of the primordial state of the warp in the past is in the final book of the Trilogy of Blood, called Darkness in the Blood.
And then a sea change. The warp altered, though subtly at first. Rasselus had little experience as a navigator of ships. Had he been born to the role, he might have noticed sooner. Like ancient mariners tasted the shift from salt to sweet in the waters of Terra's lost oceans. But soon it became apparent to him that the tempest was coming. The shrieking idioforms and psychopomps struggled to take shape. Those that manifested were sucked back to nothing among the energies that birthed them. Colors bled away. Currents stilled. A black wall was growing ahead, as impenetrable as the densest log bank and infinitely more forbidding. The task force sped towards it. The armored angel glinted in front of the darkness and vanished within completely. Against all the laws that governed it, the Empyrean lost its mutability. Blackness seeped from the rolling wall of shadow. The visions and images weakened and then stopped altogether. There was a brief passage through warp space of a primordial calmness, smooth and bright as a moonlit pond, and then the flotilla plunged into the darkness.
The warp was calmer in its original state. It became agitated and started forming demons and chaos gods once the war in Haven erupted and the galaxy became a battlefield. It started being corrupted by the emotions and actions undertaken in the midst of a war between creators and gods. Humans were created by the Old Ones at the end of the war they were losing. The Emperor too. But why? And why did it take millions of years before they emerged? The answer here is also simple. The Old Ones saw the changes in the warp that made it a malevolent entity that would over time consume all. They wanted to create a countermeasure, something not only to stop it, but to cleanse it once and for all. They couldn't create it now because their creation would inevitably become involved.
In chat, Tigerfish says, doesn't make sense because wasn't the last old one killed 30 million years ago? Meaning the old ones just created monkeys and we lucked out.
Not really. Like, I explained the theory now that goes more into detail as to why it took so long for anything to happen. Pretty much it was a long game by the Old Ones, because if they just made humanity as it was completely at the moment, humanity would have become entangled in the war in Heaven too. So it was literally, okay, let's delay their creation, just making monkeys for now, and let's see how it goes from there. But generally, it was mostly to keep them out of the war in Heaven.
And then Blaystone says, Kick was frustrating, but Pontius apparently forgets about the soup of life which created single-cell organisms on Earth. When it comes to the Necrons, humans, Eldar, orcs, I can believe Old Ones had a hand.
The main problem with the fact that would mean that we are just a creation of causality is that there is three elements that are so extremely rare to find one, like to find just one present, but all three were present on Earth, on Terra, where the Emperor was. So pretty much it was an extremely powerful psyker to the level of literally a god, because the Emperor, if you go and read what he was capable of, was literally a monster in power. He was nerfed because shitty writers, but he was a monster in power. So an extremely powerful psychic entity was born on Terra. This extremely powerful psychic entity was also perpetual, so it was also immortal. And this immortal, incredibly psychic, powerful entity was born on the planet where the Golden Throne was hidden. What are the chances that all these three elements happen on the same planet in an entire galaxy? At random.
Yeah, that's fair. Alright, let us continue.
Involved in the war in Heaven. So they had to play the long game, engineer the revolution on the longest of timescales to make them emerge in the moment they would be the safest, so that their weapon could emerge and do their bidding of burning the warp clean. Think about it. The Chaos Gods eyed the Emperor as a threat long before the Imperium, long before the Dark Age of technology, long before Moloc. They knew he was different. They knew what he was. And do you want to know why they were scared? The energies the Emperor emits are not chaos-oriented, but to the opposite. They are anti-chaos-oriented. The Emperor of Mankind is the only living being in existence that can kill a demon in a definitive manner. His sword, now wielded by Gilliman, is still capable of it by the sheer fact that it absorbed a portion of his immense psychic powers. But how was he engineered? He wasn't always around. He came to be in 8000 BC. Wait. there is a solution to that too. His soul. The Old Ones weren't only masters of genetical engineering, but soul engineering. The legend of the Star Child, the golden presence in the warp, it was the soul of the Emperor, created at a time where the warp wasn't in shambles like it is now, lying in waiting for the perfect vessel to contain his power. That soul entered the baby that became the Emperor, and solidified him as the manifestation of the last weapon of the Old Ones, a final weapon against the encroaching darkness of chaos. Think about it, it lines up. And they didn't rely on the Emperor alone, but also on the psychic amplifier that is the Golden Throne. Many people think the Emperor built it, but no, the throne was already on Terra. The Emperor himself found it. It is confirmed in The End of the Death Part 1.
No, you misunderstand my point. I'm sorry I didn't make it clearly. I agree conquer is an aggressive militaristic term, a frighted word. Of course, the word he actually used was katakto, for he was speaking a proto-form of Eleniki there, on the banks of the Eye Faces. So we can allow for some interpretation. It was a long time ago. I was citing the story as an example of aspiration. Our aspiration defines us, I believe, more than anything. Beside the Eye Faces, my father wept because, at that time, he felt he had accomplished all he could. His ambitions were achieved, and the revelation shook him. He was not proud or satisfied. He was bereft. Of course, as it turned out, there were many more worlds to conquer. The work had scarcely begun. On the banks of the Eye Faces he had won, not for the first time, not for the last, the throne of the known world. Not long after that, he found another throne, a literal throne. That changed everything. Yes, found it. Well, that's what he told me.
The Golden Throne uses Xenos technology in many cases theorized to be Eldar in origin, but Eldar technology is nothing else than Old Ones technology adapted for the use from lesser species. The Eldar Webboy wasn't built by the Eldars, it was built by the Old Ones to travel around the galaxy as fast as possible without entering the warp directly. A safe corridor to pass through the tides of the Immaterium. But where does this leave us humans? The Emperor is the most powerful of human souls, to the point that he's the only stable Alpha Plus level psyker ever recorded and the most powerful being our species has ever known. But why do we exist? Why isn't it only him? And the answer to this question came from one of the last books of the Siege of Terra, The End and the Death Part 2. Here we learn of the unspoken sanction protocol put in place from the Emperor for the Golden Throne.
According to the directives of the unspoken sanction, the instruction of which Vulcan knows he must live with for the remainder of his lives, the psycho-able candidates are still being brought in. Each one of them has been narcosedated and placed within an anti-gravitic casket. Mind-locked servitors guide the floating casket in silent rivers from the silver door and the throne room's other entrance boards. Coffins for the living. There are hundreds of them, and thousands more yet to be steered in. Gnolls of the Sisterhood await them at the wall entries, taking each casket in turn and sliding it into its machined wall socket. Other sisters are clearing spent caskets so that sockets can be reprimed. The burnout rate is atrocious. There is a smell of ash in the air, a stink Vulcan can't get out of his throat. The psychic backwash of this monstrous immolation should be unbearable too, but it is virtually absent. Every shred and scrap of psychanic power is being sucked into the conflagration and consumed.
But in the Book of Master of Mankind, we also learn something extremely important about the Golden Throne, and especially the unspoken sanction.
Kyria didn't even have to sign. A nod was enough to set the hundreds of servitors working, led by the scattering of sisters and their Martian allies. She stood in the heart of the Emperor's throne room and watched every one of the 999 other coffins raised into place along the arching walls. The process took several hours to complete, ending within the dark metal pods, all staring inwardly towards the Golden Throne itself. She refused to dwell on the fact that for each active coffin locked inside its cradle, another 9 sockets remained empty.
9 sockets remained empty for each coffin containing a psyker connected to the Golden Throne. That means that 10,000 psychers can be connected to be absorbed and their energy is used by the Emperor and the Golden Throne. It is time to get the story straight and deliver the final answer to the biggest question that surrounds the Emperor and humanity. Why are we? Why does he exist?
Okay, question, because, like, I never really looked into how, like, 1,000 psychers sacrifice themselves to keep the Emperor up and running and shit. For some reason, because I didn't see or ask how the fuck the process actually happens, I thought they just, like, it was a whole mass sacrifice where they just all slit their throats at the same time, and then their souls just go into him.
Oh, they're more used like batteries. They are absorbed by the throne, and their psychic powers used to keep the Emperor alive and supply him with the energies to keep the Elder Webway, the human webway in this case, closed, and the astronomic unlit. Pretty much, they are being used as AA batteries for a bigger battery.
So they just lay out these metal coffins like, okay, get in, and then they just attach it to the throne.
It is less of a get in and more of a, you are a psyker that cannot be controlled. Goodbye, and they just shove them in.
Oh, okay, so it's not just like a lottery poll where it's like, congratulations, you're now the psyker that gets to be sacrificed to the Emperor.
The Silent Sisterhood go around in what they call black ships, that are ships that go around the Imperium to pretty much round up all the psychers they can find. They go world by world and examine everyone for psychic activity and such, because unsanctioned and untrained psychers are very dangerous. The ones that can be trained and can be made into usable psychers are either sent to the Adeptus Astra Telepathica or the Inquisition, if they are powerful enough, the Grey Knights, to be tested to become one of them. Like, the usable ones are sent to be used, but the ones that cannot be controlled and that are too unstable or too high level to be used, because after a certain level you are too powerful for your own good, are just sent to Terra and funneled into the Golden Throne. They become batteries.
Oh, see? The Pio gets it.
Okay, get in.
I'm happy you picked up on that, Pio.
No problem.
Oh, man, now I need that redrawn with just like a Sister of Silence and whoever else.
Yeah, but the Sister of Silence need to sign that because she cannot speak.
It's just written on the lid of the coffin. Okay, get in.
No, she just holding like a sign with okay, get in, and an arrow pointing at the coffin.
Oh, I need that now. Well, time to commission somebody.
The Emperor and humanity are a creation of the Old Ones, a long-awaited plan put in motion with a failsafe, or in this case, a weapon at its center, the Emperor of mankind. The Emperor possesses the most powerful human soul ever created, made directly by the Old Ones. The tale of the Star Child wasn't a lie. Something was awaiting its appropriate vessel in the warp just to manifest. And it manifested in 8000 BC with the Emperor of Mankind, a very powerful warp entity given human form. The Emperor was and is the first and most powerful of the Psychers. So dangerous, in fact, the Chaos Gods knew it was a threat long before humans even invented anything to interact directly with the warp. Because his energies were the most pure and anti-chaos ever conceived, the only true entity that can give chaos in its entirety a true death, if he can become powerful enough to do so. The Old Ones left the soul of the Emperor slumbering, but sent and hid on Terra a device. We know it as the Golden Throne. A device capable of not only focusing and amplifying the power of the Emperor, but to use other Psychers as batteries to make the energies emitted even more powerful. And by definition, strengthen even the Emperor himself as a being. If the Emperor is a weapon, we are ammo. We were made to support and strengthen him so that he may reach his final goal. A final goal we don't know. The Emperor says he knows what it is, and sees it, even if he doesn't see a way to reach it. But it is my theory, and even the theory of Shock that first proposed this video, that the final objective of the Emperor of Mankind was cleansing the warp of all its malice, and bring it back into a primordial calm state, so that the survivors in the material realm wouldn't be destroyed by the malignity of a realm out of control. It explains why the Chaos Gods had to ally and move against him. He was conquering the galaxy, he was doing his own thing. If he wasn't a danger, why go on the trouble to stop him? And even forge an alliance between gods, when it is renowned that the gods hate everyone as much as they hate each others. The Emperor even refused the gifts of the Dark King when it tried to manifest through him. It is unknown why. Maybe the main reason is that it is inferred that the Dark King wouldn't be powerful enough to destroy all Chaos Gods, and rid the Warp of Taint once and for all. Or maybe the Emperor didn't want to replace a malignant entity with another one, like Collanius Pius told him.
You're assuming the mantle of godhood, Ol says, simply to destroy.
To protect.
The charred custodian replies.
To defend.
No, Ol snaps back. To shortcut your way to another quick solution that disregards all later consequences. I've told you this before so many times, you've never listened.
But now this makes me wonder, what if this was the plan all along? What if the Golden Throne, that is being fed psychers daily in the thousands by this point, is doing nothing else but strengthen the being of the Emperor so that he can achieve the strength he needs to complete his mission, destroying chaos once and for all? Even the creation of the human webway supports this. The old ones made the webway to not disturb the warp. My theory is that the webway itself was being repaired and reopened by the Emperor, so that once the warp was cleansed, it could be left alone and untouched by exterior living entities, so that it will not return into a chaotic state again. So, one final question arises, and on this, unfortunately, I have no answer to give. If the Emperor dies, and his soul becomes whole once again in the warp after 10,000 years of endless veneration of his being that empowered him, and the sacrifices of millions of psychers that now added their energies to his, what kind of being will emerge? And will it be powerful enough to complete the final task? Burning chaos away from the warp?
Put in pause,
Wow,
there is
we
the
didn't make a
final
video
joke,
like this from the...
to close the video, we're going to see it in a second, but pretty much to give an bigger simplification, just imagine the Emperor as a thing, like he's a weapon, he's literally not the God of Order, because that is a weird way to put it. He's literally anti-chaos. He can destroy chaos. It is why his energies are the only ones that perma-kill demons. There are other weapons that perma-kill demons, but they were made by the gods of the Eldars. And the gods of the Eldars, if we believe the recent lore, were old ones. So it means that the Emperor has energy of the old ones. But generally, it is this. The Emperor is a weapon, humanity are ammo, the Golden Throne is a detonator, is a trigger. And in fact, I would invite you to read the pinned comment under the video, which was put there by Shock, because it gives even more insight on how much a weapon the Golden Throne is. If you can read it out loud for the people, because they will not see it on screen.
Okay. Shock says, hello, I am the Shock that's actually mentioned as the Patreon who did the research and got Pontius to do this video. Great video, totally not biased, but there is one piece of evidence that Ponti didn't include, and that is the Maledactor himself. Malcador himself. While speaking to Diocletian?
Diocletian.
Actually spoke about this being one of the Emperor's goals. Specifically, it was in the first wall on page 217, 218. While Malcador does not outright say that it was the Emperor's plan, he very much hints at it in a way that implies that he and the Emperor spoke about it. Specifically, he says, if we cannot stifle the god's power in the warp, then what better means to defeat them than to channel it away? Or perhaps, given sufficient psychic energy, could the Emperor weaponize the Astronomicon rather than light the warp? Could he purge it? This hints at the Astronomicon, given enough power, souls, could do this, and at the very least the Emperor knows this, or is confident that it is a possibility. This would also lend credence to the reason why there are so many more empty slots in the apparatus of the Golden Throne. On top of this, it's coming from a reliable source, Malcador, and he is talking to a custodian about this. So he wouldn't mention such a thing if there was not a distinct and very real chance that it was the case.
Yeah, the last part is just an endorsement for the Patreon. Let's skip it. Yeah. But yeah, generally, there is more and more proof that the Golden Throne by itself is literally just a giant psychic nuke. The Emperor is the plutonium, and the energy is just souls of psychers, people.
Let me read a couple super chats real quick. Lucian Free Isolation Chamber Trials. And, Anurellis, I think that's how I say your name. How certain are we that both humans and Eldar are both different strains / modifications of Necrontyr made by the frogs?
I doubt it. The Necrontyr weren't that interesting as a being to create the Eldars from, generally.
And Reverend Norris asks, thoughts on Pontius' theory, Arch?
Well, the Emperor is a weapon, as I said already, but I don't think he was a weapon designed by the Old Ones against Chaos, because the Old Ones didn't know what Chaos was. And there's little to suggest that they would have theorized it. Especially as the Necrontyr themselves are at this point more of an anti-Chaos weapon than anything.
Actually, recently they retconned the fact that the Old Ones didn't know what Chaos was, because they included Chaos Demons into the War in Heaven.
So another retcon.
Yep, another retcon. But generally for how it works with the warp, I can see that the Old Ones would have at least been aware of what was going on in the warp. It will justify why they created the Eldar webway and their own webway, because it was theirs. The Eldars just stole it. Like, everyone does jokes on the Blood Ravens, but the Eldars just went when the Old Ones went extinct, and just went there was a sign, Old Ones webway. They just crashed it with a marker and wrote Eldar webway on it. That's what happened. But with the nature of the warp itself, that doesn't obey laws of space and time, it means that if Chaos Demons and Chaos Gods existed at one point, they existed at any point inside the warp. So I can see the Old Ones actually sense this. And then recently, when they just retconned the War in Heaven to have Chaos Demons in it, yeah.
Well, the retcon, that changes things, but initially, the warp was simply a tool. The Eldar were taught how to use it, the Orc use it. The warp was actively used as a weapon and a tool by the Old Ones, to the point where if they discovered it, they certainly viewed it as a fairly safe thing to utilize. And so it would be weird if they designed the Emperor as a tool against the warp. But now that there are demons in the War in Heaven, despite that being the Old Ones using the warp to further their own aims, to travel, to build, etc., then, again, it undermines most of Eldar lore.
Yeah, no, but I think generally, I don't like the addition of demons into the War in Heaven, because the way they did it, it is pretty much just 40k demons, but 60 million years ago. They should have gone for something a lot more original, but unfortunately Games Workshop is the same company that called the Primarch of the Iron Hands Ferrus Manus, which is Spanish for Iron Hands, and gave him literal Iron Hands, so you cannot get more imaginative than that. But generally, with how the warp works, it actually makes some kind of sense, because as I said, not obeying the law of time, it means that if something exists inside the warp, it always existed, it never existed, and it started existing only at a certain point, all at once. So pretty much the warp did it. That's the explanation.
Let's see.
And then, if you want to, yeah, it was Latin, but it is now Spanish anyway. There is shitty Latin everywhere, even generally in the last video that we watched with LumLum on the Age of Apostasy. I made more than once remarks on the shitty Latin they were using. Anyway, if you want to watch the final part of the video, it's actually pretty funny. So it is closed.
Okay, let me see if I have... Okay, there we go. Let me quick throw these on, since the funding goal was put on, so we could put... Let's see... Pontius... here... We'll put... Arch...
I shall have to excuse myself now to do a quick little super late stream of my own.
Yeah, you gotta go look at Eve's ass.
Tits and ass. But it was a very good video, Pontius, and I enjoyed it.
Thank you. It means a lot, especially from the oldest lore YouTuber I know of, and one of the most precise ones, because even Luetin sometimes makes mistakes and doesn't go too deep, but removing you and Luetin and the research made by Janovic, but Janovic is abandoning 40k, I don't really know of extremely precise other lore YouTubers, so...
Well, there's always Major Kill.
He's as precise as a blind stormtrooper, and they already even with eyes cannot hit anything. So,
Whom, after the examples you've shown me, I'm genuinely considering starting to do a weekly video on his lore videos. Like, no.
the last video of Lord Destroyers was literally 2 videos of his, and the next one we will watch his video on the Rangdang Xenocide. Me and Pio made a video on it of 40 minutes. His last 10 minutes. We are very curious to see the kind of bullshit they put in it.
Arch, to be honest, I don't. For your mental health, I would not consider that.
All right, Arch, but thank you for joining along with us. I really appreciate it. I don't ask a lot, but again, I
You do ask a fucking lot, LumLum.
No, I fucking don't.
You make countless demands upon me.
Countless demands, like fucking what?
You asked me for $200 2 days ago. How dare you?
That was my portion from the Lumi cast. You said that you'd pay me.
Do you pretend to be
demand
paid?
a lot. That is one fuck of a woman thing to say.
What? You literally told me, hey, send me an invoice for this much, so then I can send you the money. And I'm like, okay, Arch. Thank you, Arch. And then you send it over.
I remember one of the first times he was co-hosting, like somebody asked, like, hey, is Lumi getting a cut of this? And he's like, yeah, I think half. Like, no, Mas, don't ask for a lot. God damn it, LumLum. God damn you.
What? Dude, when somebody told me, oh yeah, it's normal for people to usually get paid to co-host on things, and I'm like, people get paid? I just like being here.
Normal my ass.
Wait, you guys are
Okay,
getting
I didn't get paid.
Wait, you get paid?
I don't ask for a lot.
I don't ask for a lot. Shut up. Anyways, go have fun with Stellar Blade.
I hope to.
I will keep
see.
Lolly
I'll
Arch
go to.
on me anyway because people paid for it. There you go.
Anyway, LumLum, I sent you the Pio without a background. You can add it on your head.
Yep, he is now on my
Wait,
head.
wait,
I have a crown of
your head?
Autis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could shrink it down. Perfect.
Pio doing it for the good of the world. Pio doesn't enjoy watching Major Kill. He watches it because he's forced to. That's the point.
No, but even when he doesn't get too much things wrong, I still get uncomfortable from his jokes.
Yeah, Euron got fucked in the ass. They got raped by the Iron Warriors. Like, yeah, can you bring it down? Like, I'm not.
He was
sure,
getting,
please.
yeah, he was getting so fucking horny when he mentions the Sisters of Battle in in the Vandar one.
Let's see, LumiCast funding up? Yes, I just don't know how much the next LumiCast funding is. We'll see. I'll bother Arch about it again later. Alright, let's watch the last little bit of the video, do a little bit of yapping, and then I'll raid over to Arch, and then you guys can watch him get stuck at various bosses. Nice crown. Oh, thank you. It is a very lovely crown.
The times of the Rangdang Xenocides video, I miss sparking about lore like this.
Yeah, I missed it too. Maybe. But I suspect that this theory of yours will cause problems.
Why?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe it has everything to do with Inquisitor Eisenflor aiming a bolt pistol at your head. But that might be just a supposition.
Are you a Necron too?
Yeah, Inquisitor Eisenflor isn't really a friend of anyone. He's just there to shoot people.
Super chats? I thought I already read. Oh, we got a couple more. Alright. Oh, you got. Let's see here. Dragon Eric, I'm calling it now humans are reseeded old ones. The old ones are advanced ancient humans, at least in the original lore. I don't know anything about the original lore.
I mean, original lore is almost completely retconned by this point, so I wouldn't even consider it unless you find confirmation that it has been reconfirmed. It is why pretty much we could take as something true the fact that the Emperor was born in 8000 Anatolia, because there are stories set in that time period in various books, but there are actually none that reinforce the fact that he was created by the sacrifice of human psychers. But there is different ones that say that he was the first psyker. So that is the new canon now.
Let's see. Weird sent 2 Australians. It just got here. Has Pontius strangled Arch yet? No.
I mean, it was a bit more silent than I expected, but I can understand why. I mean, after you do 40k lore videos for years and years, you just get tired of watching people speak about 40k. You're more like, couldn't we talk like about baking for a bit?
I mean, it's like it's probably a mix of pondering and just listening, because it's like if you see Arch on anything that isn't his own show and stuff like that, he's very quiet, except on side scrollers because they're directly talking to him. But if you ever see him on, like, you know, Flashcast or when he was on what was that show? Friday Night Tights. He is a very quiet man.
Yeah, there are actually people that want for me to go in a stream with Sargon and Arch, because they're like, I think Sargon will like you, but I'm like, yeah, but Sargon might be a 40k player, but he's mostly like a political creator. I know shit about politics, especially English politics. I know about English food and how shit it is, but other than that. But yeah, I actually received a question that was asked in the chat, but I was pinged in my own Discord, which is, was there anything on the source lore for the Emperor video about how long a time the throne was meant to be operated? You described it as a psychic nuke mere minutes ago, yet it's being used as a warp reactor in current lore. I can imagine the term damage due to incorrect use would be an understatement, and would explain how it has degraded over time, and why the original 1000 psychers a day to 4k in modern lore. That is actually correct. The problem is that while the Golden Throne was being used for a purpose, now it has been repurposed for something else entirely. Like the Golden Throne by itself, as it is explained, was pretty much, just imagine an extremely powerful concentrator of energy. It was literally there to concentrate the power of the Emperor and other psychers into something tangible. Like, how to explain? Like, imagine a microscope, but for energy. It was extremely concentrated. The problem is that with the Emperor being turned in it and having to use it constantly, even to keep just humanity afloat, you are pretty much using the equivalent of a nuke to power your fucking house. And you're keeping the lights on from 10,000 years.
Let's see. Why Hayton says, so the warp used to be like an ocean, now it's the ocean in the middle of a Category 5 hurricane.
I mean, the warp used to be like an ocean, now it is literally like the Bermuda Triangle, so... Political situation of Brazil. Servo Pio landed on Mars. If LumLum goes back at the beginning of the video, you can see the article on the whiteboard of him creating the first, the very beginning. You can see on the whiteboard that there is the article of Servo Pio establishing the first Brazilian Mars colony.
Man, so this will be a little extra fodder for what the heck happened on Mars.
Yep, Servo Pio was responsible.
He's doing really well.
Oh, go ahead, Pio.
No, sorry. I was just saying, yeah, he's doing really well.
War Turk says, so the Eldar are 40k's ultimate Nepo baby, ruining everything Daddy gave them. Let's see. Dark Resurrect, member for 11 months. Hello, fellow autists. Back to the start I go. Lucine says, please, Arch, it would be funny. Use Pontius as a tool to help you.
It makes me laugh because now, like, the next video is on Pontius Glow, which is the namesake of the channel. In this specific case, is Orb version, which is the Pontius, as it is the name of the channel. And I was rereading Xenos that I read the first time various years ago, and I pretty much remember nothing of it, where the first time Inquisitor Eisenhorn literally captured the orb that is the Pontius, the orb with the soul of Pontius Glow in it, was because he was escaping from like an enemy base. He found himself in the chambers of Oberon Glow, which is the current Chaos Patriarch of the Glow family. Started searching in his luggage and just found the fucking orb of the Pontius covered in clothing into one of the luggages, and I just imagine just this fucking orb of endless knowledge and power just being huddled around like socks and underwear in a fucking luggage.
Let's see. Ben says, after this video, kind of realized that the races created by the old ones can serve as a caste system. Orcs, siege weapons, Eldar, mystics, the fuck are herd? I don't know what that is. Are assassins, Tau craftsmen, human soldiers, fruit cleaners. You know?
But yeah, generally the point of this video is the Emperor is a weapon created by the old ones. Humanity are literally ammo to augment him, and the Golden Throne is literally a psychic nuke waiting to go off to pretty much purify the warp. It is why he was reopening the human webway, because once the warp was purified, you don't step in it anymore, because it might go back to the original state. The warp is literally a dimension of thoughts, emotions, and actions. It means that if you go inside and you touch it, it will literally materialize your worst fears just to torment you. So yeah, the human webway was literally a way to detach humanity from the warp. And when you think about it, the only race in the entirety of the galaxy that uses the warp for travel is humans. The Tau didn't know of warp travel. They have learned recently, but they don't like it because of what happened with the Force Sphere expansion. The Orcs don't use the warp to travel. In fact, there is another different dimension that they use the rocks to teleport to. It is a strange way. Even the Mechanicals are like, what the fuck? They can teleport without using the warp. The Eldars have the webway. Nobody uses the warp but humans. So...
Knapjack, thank you for gifting 4 channel memberships over on Kick. I really appreciate it.
The orcs the orcs use the warp when they want to go and have a fight. Like, they use it because they literally have no other way to do so. But the orcs, remember, weren't planned. They were literally a countermeasure against the Necrons. But in the War of the Beast, something interesting came up. The fact that the orcs could teleport stuff, their rocks, without using the warp. And even the Mechanicals were like, what the fuck? The Tau don't use the warp. They didn't know what it was until they encountered the Imperium. And even then, the Force Sphere expansion went into the warp without Geller field generators. Because they're pretty smart.
Hell, even if orcs use the warp, the demons are rarely stupid enough to invade an orc ship.
Generally the orcs are not even corruptible by chaos, and they are barely touchable by it, for the simple fact that the orcs don't have deeper desires. Like, their stupidity is literally their shield against chaos, for the simple fact that an orcs want to kill things, shoot things, move war. That's all they want to do. So it is hard to corrupt a being with such simple thoughts. Because you cannot promise him anything that he wants. He literally wants everything he already has. So.
Ben says, Guy told me GW are reintroducing the Chaos Star, i.e. the 8 Chaos Gods, one for each arrow. Thoughts on that Horus Heresy book?
I think it is just another retcon that will ruin stuff. Because Games Workshop really is an headless chicken by this point. Oh yeah, they are introducing another 4 Chaos Gods. Okay. by the nature of the fucking warp, if they come in existence, then they always existed. Where the fuck were they for all the events of the Horus Heresy, the Great Crusade, the Dark Ages? So...
You know, it'll be interesting, and I can't wait for you to tear that apart when it comes around.
Yeah, because I will. Every time is literally Games Workshop does something stupid, Pontius, and I took that personally every time.
Knapjack was gambling earlier, had a win, so that I'd spread the winnings. Oh, that's awesome. Well, thank you for the support. I really appreciate it, and thank you for stopping by the channel.
Spread them on our Patreon too, you bastard. I'm joking.
Chaos God of Diversity.
Chaos God of Diversity. It is just a blue-haired they-them that screams in pain every time you misgender it. Just an elder banshee, but with blue hair.
I'm so scared to hear the rants about the eventual Chaos Star, because I will thank all of your all of your fury for it.
The Chaos Star is just how a true Chaos follower should be worshipping Chaos. It's called the Eightfold Path, through complete opposite of what Buddhism asks. Oh, okay, I see. You know, then why
literal Buddhism, live with nothing. The eightfold path of the Chaos God. What if you painted your armor in the blood of virgins?
Man, you know, it seems like a path that we'll tread once we get there. Each point has a definition tied to how perverse and maddening some aspects of chaos are. Each tug into fabric of reality. The actual Chaos Star is a thing. Each point does have a meaning. LumLum, I'll DM you something. Okay. Also, hi Atari. How is my favorite Swedish femboy?
How many fucking femboys are around?
I mean, Atari is the Swedish femboy that loves 40k.
Based, at least. But yeah, generally, what I love the most about the official lore is that technically, all women in the Imperium are paying like a monthly tax to Khorne, because remember, Khorne doesn't care from whence the blood flows. So, good job, LumLum. You are contributing to Khorne once every month with your red rage.
You know, I don't choose to do so. I would like to have another child, but I gotta wait and be responsible and get a house first.
Yes, I will technically classify like periods as divine punishment to woman for being woman, and if we look at her, that you can see why.
Now, I think it's a divine punishment for women of being women, because a fucking woman just shot all the Primarchs into the warp. It's like, nope, this is your punishment. It's like, thanks.
Finkarn, to answer your question, is because of the movie Manos, The Ends of Fate. I watched so many reviews of that shitty movie that now for me, every time I hear Manos, for me it's Spanish, not Latin.
Oh, I see. And so this is the Chaos Star. Let's see, Needless Slaughter. I think that says Needless Slaughter.
Heedless Slaughter, I think.
Heedless Slaughter. Okay. Future Corruption. Malevolent. I don't know what that says, but I'll just say Malevolent Autism.
I actually don't know what the fuck it should say. It is too low quality.
Does that say Rapturous Sensation?
Yeah, it is Lanesh related.
Yeah.
So you want to tell me that something that was already established is being retconned for another stupid thing added by Games Workshop? Well, that's a first.
Let's see, something... Dissolution, I think. That's what the bottom is. Ravenous Dissolution? I don't know.
Might be.
Let's see... Something Distortion. Forceful Distortion? I don't know. Internal... something. I don't know. It's so low quality. I can read some of it, but not all of it.
It is like the map
Ruinous.
of the Imperium. Everything you find around is low quality, and then you find the single high quality one that Pio asked me to send him, but I never sent because I'm jealous of my findings.
I found it anyway.
Artifice.
Fuck you.
Malevolent Artifice, and then what was the other one? Ruinous. Oh, Ruinous Dissolution? Okay. Lumi has a hard enough time reading print, now she's trying cursive. I can read cursive fine enough. I spent like half of like 2/4 of 3rd grade learning how to read and write in cursive.
The problem is that it's the low quality.
Okay. Let's see. Encroaching Ruin, Infernal Tempest, Malevolent Artificer, Rapturous Sensation, Ravenous Dissolution, Putrid Corruption, Formless Distortion, Heedless Slaughter, and then Primordial Annihilation in the middle. Okay. So I got some of them right, fuck yeah.
But yeah, I cannot see where another 4 Chaos Gods even fit, because generally I don't see what else they could add that cannot be traced back to the other 4 Chaos Gods. Even Malice technically can be traced back to at least Khorne. He's a god that worships like senseless war to anyone. So it is literally Khorne but lawless.
Yeah.
I love Malice.
Yeah, I don't know how GW is gonna pull this off. They're probably gonna pull it off terribly and just be like, okay, there you go, figure it out. And then many lore people will just scream in pain. The one they already showed,
there are
Chaos
fantasy
God
gods.
of
The problem is
Technology.
like fantasy and 40k have never been truly connected. There have been theories that they share the warp, but there has never been confirmation that they are truly connected. At that point, if they are connected, it means that who the fuck was Sigmar at that point?
This was from the 30k Horus Heresy rulebook. Is see. Somebody asked, what would be your 3's Chaos God of choice if you had to pick? For me, I would probably say Khorne. I don't know, what about you two? If you had to pick a Chaos God.
I will go with Khorne too. I'm all about word and honor and killing people. But that's also Pio, so.
I think it would be Nargol. At least I am happy.
At least I am happy. Yes, but you are at that point you become the equivalent of a Redditor, Pio. You live in a basement and you stink.
But I'm happy. At least.
Atari, I know you'd pick Slaanesh. Khorne is the more agreeable of the 4. Yeah. Technically, Danny rule for the tabletop. Allows armies of chaos from AOS to be used in 40k.
Yes, but because they have similar purposes and they have similar demons, but there has never been official connection. It is literally just yeah, the minis are similar. You can use them in both.
Go for go for
the problem in Chaotic is that at the same time it doesn't make sense. Like Vashtor makes a bit of sense as the malevolent artificer, but I don't know about the rest of the ones not connected to a chaos god already. But even he himself, like the constant pursuit of technology and advancement, it is literally a form of excess. It is Slaanesh. Why do we need Vashtor?
And if you go for knowledge, for technology, you go with Zinch. So,
in fact,
Are you dying? Are you dying, Pontius?
No, it's not me actually. I think it is behind Pio that somebody's coughing.
Yeah.
Pio, you gotta
Somebody's
give your
dying in the
prisoners
background.
water every so often.
That's another Pio that hasn't had water in a couple of weeks. I should fill the water feeder. They have one like I don't know if you know like oh my god like the ones given to domestic rats. They have like that one. I need to fill it.
Where would the great horned rat fit into this?
In the ass of corn, mainly. the great horned rat is literally a god of senseless violence. Like even when you think about the rats themselves, the Skaven race in fantasy, think about it. They kill everyone. They make more war machines to kill everyone. They don't care if they kill their own allies. They literally mine gold just to spite other races and take it away from them. They use it to make statues that insult the gods of other races. There is like a description of the Skaven like making a statue where Sigmar is pretty much showing his butt to the enemy. But yeah, no. Generally, when you think about it, it is just senseless violence. It is still corn.
Nasco says, I really wish Pontius had a subscribe star or Gumroad because I don't want to support creators on Patreon. It's done a lot of crap that turns me away from it.
Yeah, that much I know. But I mean, we have memberships on YouTube. You can join through YouTube. There are memberships. You get even some perks. You get a personalized rank on Discord, but you have to contact me there because there is no bot connected to YouTube. So yeah, you can just sustain us through YouTube if you don't want to use Patreon. Same thing.
I believe there is a bot through YouTube. You just have to connect your YouTube to Discord, and then it gives you whatever role you.
So YouTube can suggest me even more like stuff that the people on Discord send me. No, I don't want to see another femboy review of a horse dildo. Thank you. I have had enough after one.
Oh, that's fair. It's fair. Let's see. Horned rat is an old one more, so only old ones can create and not corrupt.
Skaven almost the embodiment of anarcho-communist. No, because they are smart. They are actually smarter than anarcho-communists. I mean, and if we want to talk about communists by themselves, you can just think of chaos, because communism has done one good thing in all of its existence. It has been the #1 cause of death of communists. So. Patreon exclusive content on YouTube membership. It depends what level you join. I was thinking about uploading it, but yeah, like if you join a list for a $5 rank or a 10, I don't know actually, because I don't remember what I set up. But yeah, join for a list of $5 rank on YouTube, and I can send you the link to the Patreon only stuff. It is why I upload them on Mega, because I can share them even outside Patreon if I want.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I send all of them to LumLum so she can have a laugh. Even if, again, I'm a bit... it is a bit strange that I still have to send her the feed pics, even if I send her the stuff for free.
Oh my god. You don't have... I've never asked you. The only fucking anything that involved feet was Pio with feet. And that was... he looks sickly.
Yeah, I actually don't understand why we don't have like feet Pio on your head, but okay.
I'm not gonna put Pio on my head.
But yeah, that was a very old meme made with a 3D version of Pio. So.
Let's see. Look at your DMs. There's a video I linked you. I think we might watch the video another time, because I know it is getting late in ye old pasta land over there.
Yeah, it is almost 1 a.m. I actually want to explain this, that Shock actually wrote to me about it. One of the two people that actually helped me together with Shock in this video is called Bulfrid Gauld. And when he was introduced to me, I was explained by Shock, because we were in voice chat, that he was creating a feat list of the Necrons and various other entities in 40k. Now, feat intended as incredible actions, incredible conquests, like incredible stuff. But for a good couple of weeks, until he wrote to me in the chat the word, I was convinced that this guy was literally making a fit list of the 40k universe.
It's even funnier that we thought the same thing.
Yeah, even Pio thought that. And I was actually, oh, you mean fit as in actions? Why the fuck do you tell me fit by voice then? What the English? Fuck you.
Oh my fucking god. Just
was
imagine
silent.
somebody taking all of that time to make a ranking of every single person's feet in the 40k universe.
I mean, we can send you the list. We
No.
can ask him.
No. Lumi, smash
But
your
yeah,
ass, 40k feet. Shut up, Harbinger.
But yeah, if you join for at least like a $5 rank on YouTube, we can send you the link, no problem. Like we send every link to LumLum because she enjoys the Lord Destroyers a lot, and because mainly the Pio meltdown, she can confirm. But yeah, it is one of the reasons we don't upload like exclusively on Patreon. Removing that, it might be a problem because it is very big files, and Patreon is renowned to be extremely slow. So just we can share it with people. Like, we are not greedy. If somebody's like, I want to watch Lord Destroyers, but like I can barely put food on the table, I will just be like, yeah, take the fucking link, have fun.
I know another channel that I was subscribed to Patreon before. How he had his Patreon exclusive videos is he had a whole separate channel disconnected from his main one, where he uploaded Patreon exclusives as a unlisted link. He would put that unlisted link on his Patreon, and then if there's like other means that people are supporting him, he would send that unlisted link. So then, you know, because you know how Mega loves to only let you upload a certain amount per day if you don't have a premium Mega or whatever.
Oh no, yeah, but I have a premium Mega because I store a lot of files in it, like recordings of various stuff that I participated in and stuff. So
okay.
yeah, I already had a paid version, so I can just use that. Even that, like removing the problem of space. What I don't like is YouTube compression. I literally upload the raw file on Mega, so you get the full quality of the recording, and even then it is easier to download because like you never know when even then, like for people that have been on the Patreon and such, they can just download the file and it's theirs. They can keep it.
Okay. And also, hi Ryda, thank you for the raid. How are you doing today? Yeah, just if you want to support Pontius and Pio in their endeavors of Warhammer, go subscribe over to their Patreon. If you don't want to subscribe over on Patreon, become a YouTube member over on the channel. I will always shill these guys because I enjoy the content that they make.
Yay, we got a fan, and she is a foot fetishist. See,
Shut
Pio,
up.
this is how it's done.
I am not a foot fetishist. I am a fan, and I adore these two with all of my heart, and I will continue to support them.
Thank you.
Yeah, then we don't
it means
suck.
a lot. We don't suck, Pio. We did it.
Yeah.
We are the first Italians redeemed. We are like the Kriegs, but we actually reached our purpose.
You get the fans you deserve. Shut up.
Yeah, you get the fans you deserve. I get fans that love Pio more than me, and I'm literally the one writing Pio. It is very depressing.
Hello, Lumi. How are you today? I'm doing good. I am chilling with Pontius and Pio, a couple of my favorite Italian men. They're great. We had Arch here earlier. We were listening to the true origins of the Emperor. A little bit of theory crafting. It's always fun listening to what the autists have to say and be like, okay, but you see this event all the way over here? It's actually tied to this event way over here about 100 years later. You know, you love it.
Yeah, and there is actually a little meme that for the people that have not seen my video on female Marines, I want to disband, because there were some people that were like, oh wait, as I explained in that video, I discovered 40k at the end of 2019. I'm currently 25. There were people that, like, for the videos we were making, they were like, how are you not in your 50s? Like...
Timothy Armstrong says, someone should have told me when I got into Warhammer 40k how expensive it is. I literally sunk $300 in my first Salamander Space Marine starter kit. Well, one, I think everybody warned you about the money sink. It's plastic crack.
Yeah, even then, like, you must know that there is a saying when it comes to Warhammer 40,000 and Games Workshop. Warhammer is for everyone, unless you're poor.
Yes. But also good choice on the Salamanders.
Yeah, better than the Lamenters.
Just gotten a 3D printer. Yeah, a 3D printer would have saved you a little money.
Yeah, I would have saved you a little money, and even then, like, generally, the files you find around are actually even better than whatever the fuck Games Workshop is doing now, because like the recent 40k models have all been a catastrophe. Like the only good one is the only good kit I can think of is the Night Lords one, but then you have the Handsome Squidward, Sanguinary Guard, Inquisitor Cote as the potato, because they changed his entire fucking design and he sucks now. And then you go in Age of Sigmar and they have a better chaplain model than all of 40k. It is incredible.
LumLum, now that I am the 6,969th member, how do I go about getting a Sea Bunny? Okay, well, how you can get your own custom Sea Bunny, just DM me on Discord on what base Sea Bunny you want to have it based off of. The details, like the added little accessories or details you want added onto it, and then I'll forward it over to the Toro so she can draw it.
First thing, I can bet, first thing it asks, it must have naked feet.
Sea bunnies don't have feet!
This one will.
No! Mr. Bob 7370, hey Lumi, are your husband's feet your favorite feet, or do you have another who stole that spot? Also, how big is your feet folder? It doesn't exist! Feet are gross! I am going to... I can't even do anything, so I'm just gonna look mad. And also I'm just gonna fucking... Where's my two-handed fucking toggles? Oh, there it is.
I'm still of the opinion that we should have... I'm still of the opinion that we should have Fit P on screen. It would be very intimate.
To be honest...
Close Pontius, I want to Foot Clan Sea Bunny. With 69.69 on it.
Foot Clan Sea Bunny.
Oh, sorry, did I miss your super? Let me... Okay, David the Red says there's a story of orcs on a Necron ship with no air and not carrying because they're on a ship and you can breathe on ships. Necrons were confused.
It became so much of a problem that you literally had a 3D model avatar of a sign saying, I don't like feet.
Yes.
That's a new level of feet harassment.
Oh, man. Let's see. Do we have anything?
But yeah, the joke about the Lamenters was actually because of the myth created during the Arbadab War videos, where Pio just is suffering all the time for the fate of the Lamenters, and it was pretty much a jab at the fact that the favorite chapter of Pio are the Lamenters, at least in the videos, because in reality it's either the Black Templars or the Iron Warriors or the Imperial Fist in general. So.
No, I don't like the Black Templars that much.
Fuck you. Man without taste. It is why you eat only
like
Pio starch.
I like the Black Templars, but they are fucking everywhere. It's like the Ultramarines.
They are everywhere, and every time they're kicking ass. That's the point.
Oh, not even that much.
Yeah.
They just don't care about casualties because they are like 10,000.
Yeah. It is incredible that every time an Inquisitor notices that there are a bit more than 1,000 Black Templars, he ends up murdering himself in Minecraft, and usually with 7 bolter rounds on his back. He was very depressed.
You meant Cadia itself.
Yeah, he Cadia'd itself.
Alright. I don't think we have anything else to yap about. Oh, hold on. God King Trump, hey Footfish, Ponti and Pio. For the Italians, what are your general thoughts on the Horus Heresy series? Also, I owe my government $2,000 in taxes, apparently.
Pio, say the line.
You did nothing wrong.
Yeah, and also the IRS sucks.
Sorry.
And,
Taxation is theft. Euron did nothing wrong.
There, the full line.
Okay.
But yeah, I think the Horus Heresy series that is almost 60 books is probably 45 books too long. Like they padded it out so much that many of the books don't even have interesting elements left in them. They are just boring in some places. Like even the Book of Fulgrim is literally a travesty. It is considered one of the worst books in the Horus Heresy series. But yeah, read the Macarian Crusade trilogy. That's how you do a crusade.
Yeah, the Horus Heresy series, I think the same. There are very little books that are actually good.
Yeah. Pontius will win in a fight. Tiberos the Red Wake or Asterion Moloc? Asterion Moloc is strong. The problem is that Tiberos by itself is at a completely other level. It will be a Clash of the Titans, but the way it is described, Tiberos the Red Wake is so fast while in Terminator armor that you don't even see him. You see a blur and then red mist because it is all that is left of whatever he's killing.
And Mr. Twisted, we had that conversation, me and Pontius, in private. It was like an hour and a half long.
Yeah, and even then, Asterion Moloch has been defeated before. He was never killed, but it is a myth. Like they think that he's actually being replaced, but by legend, he has never been killed, but he has been defeated. And if somebody can defeat him, is literally Tiberos the Red Wake. The guy literally soloed an entire fleet. So yeah.
Timothy Armstrong says, you know what, I can't wait for supposedly the next edition or the edition after a new Salamander successor chapter called The Elder Dragon should release. It's a chapter made of veteran space marines. It could be interesting.
I mean, I would like a bit of fleshing out of the fucking Death Watch. They aren't only like Xenos killers. They are literally the Ordo militant of the Ordo Xenos. They don't kill only Xenos. They are literally a military force made to kill things, but not only Xenos.
Let's see, and Moon asked, do you think that the Custodes have a contingency plan for the Emperor Awakening?
Yes, Fabrice. Because it stinks in there. A shower and Fabrice.
You know, maybe on top of, like, you know, the Sisters of Silence's mask just covering their face, maybe it's also just a gas mask or a filter so that they don't have to smell the room.
This room smells of pure unfettered Nargol ass. Let's just put on gas masks.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was a filtration system so they can just walk in there just fine.
He beat the Khan the first time they fought on Prosper. Oh yeah, during the Horus Heresy. The Elder Dragons and Space Marines survived the longest recording conflicts. That will make no fucking sense. Like, the oldest recorded alive Space Marine outside of a Dreadnought is Dante, and he's alive from 1,500 years plus by this point. But the oldest recorded alive Space Marine ever, even in a Dreadnought, is Bjorn the Fell-Ended. He was literally from the Great Crusade. He's now a Dreadnought, but he fought side by side with the Emperor and Liman Ras.
The Fifth Courier, Heresy, the Emperor, even in death smells fresh. Oh, that's funny. But anyway, so I'm not keeping these two hostage and they become sleep deprived.
I mean, look at the eyes of Pio, he's already sleep deprived. For the subtitles.
This was a very fun stream. I really appreciate you two stopping by and wanting to do this, and thank you for everyone in chat just listening to us yap, ramble, and all that. I appreciate you guys stopping by as well. I'm happy that our Warhammer Wednesday streams have been doing well, and I've been learning a lot, and I can't wait to learn more.
You can learn more by watching Major Kill. especially his video on the Bad War where you can see him have a shower and literally shave his balls.
Or how about instead of watching Major Kill, you just go watch Lore Destroyers over on Pontius' Patreon.
But you will not escape Major Kill shaving his balls either, even then.
Nope.
That's in episode 1. We literally started with that.
I didn't read that in the Badabur codexes.
oh wait, a Mayscape dad with Major Kill naked. That was did I miss a page? That was not in the Badabur codexes.
Alright, everybody, I will send you guys over to Arch on YouTube and Kick, so have fun watching him play Stellar Blade. And I will see you guys. What am I doing tomorrow? Do I have anything planned for tomorrow? I don't believe so. I don't know. I'll figure out what I'm gonna do. Anyways, I will see you all later. Good night, guys.
Good night.
Good night.